So good morning and welcome along to day 2 here at the Glasgow International Swim Meet. I'm Stuart Johnson, I'm joined by Tom Scally.
Good morning, Stuart.
Morning Tom, good sleep last night? Tired after the excitement of the first day?
Very good sleep. It's been a lot of preparation up to this point, so finally got to bed nice and early last night. We're ready for day 2.
I can guarantee you weren't in bed as early as me last night. Definitely a big day for us. Lots of things going on, but an excellent first day. Lots of exciting swims. What were the highlights for you of yesterday?
Well, as you know, I kept going on about that 50 breaststrokes. Seeing Ross Murdoch take it, it was fantastic.
I think you mentioned that 1 or 2 times, didn't you?
I did, yeah. But also loads of highlights. That 200 IM in the women's race, when we had Amy Wilmot and Katie Shanahan, we were talking about them, but it was actually the Greek that snuck in to take second place, Nicoleta Pavlopoulou. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but she took second place. Yeah. Also, we've got the 100 fly where Tane Bruce went sub 60. We also had Hannah Miley come in 6th in that race. I'm guessing this was more of an experimental run for her.
Not necessarily one of the events. We know that Hannah obviously does like to do a varied programme every time. You can always guarantee that one of the best tweets I've ever seen is how many events will Hannah Miley compete in this weekend? And the options were 1, 2 or hunters. So I think you can probably guess what got the most votes on that one.
It's definitely hunters, and it's always a surprise when you see the events that she enters, and again, this meet is no different.
Yeah, so I think for me, one of the ones, believe it or not, one of the interesting events for me was the battle with himself of the Greek swimmer Dimitrios Negris in the 1500 freestyle last night. So our first final of last night obviously wasn't an A final as such, because that was a heat declared winner, but it was the fastest heat. Now he definitely went out to try and beat his time there, entered on a 15:13 and actually went under that to get a new meet record, 15:10 I think it was. So a great swim, especially when he pretty much didn't have any challenger on that. He pretty much swam that race against himself and against the clock.
And that's sometimes how they do it, especially when it goes to the long distance. You know, you can't rely on having someone right behind you to push you that little bit further. You really need to be up against yourself and the clock. And I guess for him it's probably been a case of tunnel vision, you know, really racing, trying to get that time down.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other ones that stood out for me as well, obviously I'd spoke about it as, I'd seen it as what was going to be one of my battles in the A final of the men's 200 metre IM. Now, I'd said, could George Clough maybe do something there? I think he maybe put a little bit too much into the mornings. I think he came in 6th place in that final, but it was great to see. It still was a bit of a battle between those swimmers in that final, and it was good to see Mark Sharanek back in a pool in Scotland.
It was great to see Mark Sharanek, and hopefully we'll be speaking to him later on in the weekend to get his take on his races.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what's coming up now. Obviously this Glasgow International Swim Meet wouldn't be possible without the kind support of our sponsors, so a big thank you to those sponsors. We have the sponsors of Scott's Restaurants, we have Dean's Pharmacy, and we also have Audi Glasgow. Now Tom, have you seen that Audi car out in the foyer?
It just looks so amazing. I really want to drive it home tonight, but I still don't think they're going to let me.
I still don't think we're getting the keys. We are doing our best to try and get our hands on those keys, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have enough followers for that.
Yeah, so Obviously, if you are here, make sure that you do get your picture with the Audi e-tron outside just at the front doors there. You can also tweet us across the social media channels using hashtag GISM19, and also if you are taking a picture with that Audi, make sure you also include the hashtag e-tron.
Hashtag e-tron, yeah.
Hashtag e-tron. It is the new Audi e-tron that is being shown out in the foyer. It is a great car. Have a look round it. I'm sure the guys from Glasgow would be quite happy to sell you if you want it.
Yeah, I've heard it's about 75 to 80 grand, so if you've got that in your pocket
change.
here at Glasgow
change.
International, just pick it up, take it home.
Do they take check?
I think they would be a bit hesitant on that one.
Could always give it a try, but yeah, I mean the pool is looking great behind us. You probably can just see it through those advertising boards there. The swimmers are just going through their final preparations for this morning. This morning's warm-up, just under 5 minutes left on that, so they will be coming out of the water soon. But Tom, what have you picked out as your highlights for this morning?
So obviously we saw the 200 IM last night, and we're moving into the distance swimming tonight. It's the 400 IM. Where we're going to see Katie Shanahan versus Amy Wilmot round 2, but also there's a new runner in the mix there. We've got Katrine Bjørk-Willesen from Aalborg swim team in Denmark, and she's coming in with a 4:45.70, so that's just slightly faster than Katie Shanahan.
And will she still be a junior as well? Obviously Katie is a junior, but I think Katrine will still be a junior as well.
I think she'll still qualify for the juniors, yep. So it's going to be a real battle between those three, and it'll be interesting to see how that looks and how it pans out on the pool side.
Yeah, obviously we've got men's 100 metre breaststroke. We are a lover in GB at the moment of the breaststroke events. We've got a really strong field for all our breaststroke events. So again, we'll see the return of your favourite Tom Ross Murdoch. So he has the fastest qualifier for that, but I'm sure there will be a few. Again, the youngster from Warrender, Archie Goodburn, he's doing a lot of things on the senior circuit when he still does technically qualify in for juniors.
That's right, and we're seeing this more and more here. The juniors are actually making their way into the B finals, the A finals, and they're doing some fantastic stuff, which for British swimming as a whole, it really is a great thing to see all the youth coming up and really taking to the challenge.
Yeah, also the return of Stephen Milne. He's doing a bit of a Hannah Miley this weekend. I think 3 finals we saw him in last night, so no rest for him.
We did, yeah, and it's again, where is he going to put his energy for today? Because there's so many races that he can focus on. But again, this is a great meet for them just to test out what might be working, what they need to improve on. So,
any of the 50s that stand out for you? Because we do have the 50s coming up towards the end of the session as well. So anything there that you've got your eye on?
Yep, so we've got the women's 50 metre backstroke, where we'll see Katie Shanahan again. She's going to go up against Mona McSharry, Kathleen Dawson and Emma Scobie. So Katie's doing a 400 at the start of the session and a 50 at the end. She's probably going to be a little bit angry about the order of those events, but it'll be great to see how she can pull back from that 400.
The thing is, with the order of those events though, the meet information is published, so coaches, swimmers do have a chance to look at it and kind of have a little think about that. So obviously there has been some thinking there, and she's obviously decided it's a challenge that she's up for.
She's clearly up for the challenge, and it'll be great to see how that pans out.
Okay, so that's what we're looking forward to coming up this morning. Now, we are going to hand you over just shortly to our commentary team, and this morning we will be joined by the voice of swimming, as I've heard him touted, Duncan McKinnell, and also National Performance Director from Scottish Swimming, Ali Wyke. So once we come back from these short adverts, it will be over to Duncan and Ali, and we hope to see you at the end of the session.
So, very good morning to you. It's day 2 here at Tollcross International Swimming Centre, and we're live for the Glasgow International Swim Meet 2019. I'm Duncan McKinnell, and I'll be taking you through the action this morning. It's second morning of heats. We've got the fastest heats going this morning, followed by the slower heats this afternoon, and our second night of finals take place tomorrow. So, just to give you an idea of what's coming up. We start off with 400 metres individual medley this morning. Women up first. There'll be 3 heats for them. We've got the likes of Amy Wilmot, Commonwealth champion, going in heat number 3. Beside her, the very promising Glasgow youngster, Katie Shanahan. So looking for excellent stuff from Amy Wilmot. We've also got Amber Keegan going in that one. And so it should be a pretty exciting set of heats there. Then we move to the men. So some strong swimmers there. Richard Nagy of City of Sheffield has the fastest entry time of 4:13. So that's a pretty nifty fast time from him. The Slovakian based in Sheffield. After the IM, we move to breaststroke, 100 breaststroke today. Women again will go in first and feature the likes of the Irish star Mona McSharry. She'll have Hannah Miley beside her. Hannah doing, I suppose, a deconstructed IM through this week. We're not seeing her doing the medley events, but we are seeing her doing all the constituent parts, so it's breaststroke today. Previous heat to that, we've got the likes of Katie Robertson, the very promising Scot from South Ayrshire. So following them, the men's 100 breaststroke, we saw Ross Murdoch in the 50 last night, breaking the meet record, and he'll be going again in the 100. The one of 2 swimmers with entry times under the minute, the other one being his University of Stirling teammate Craig Benson. They'll go in the heat before him. 200 fly is after that. Emily Large, the fastest woman in the field. And Kiana McInnes will be in there as well, very much her signature event. Followed by the men's 200 fly, Richard Nagy putting in a second appearance there with Stephen Milne next to him, who won this event last year. After the 200 fly, we go to 200 freestyle. Catherine Greenslade, the Welsh star from Edinburgh University, fastest entry time there. Lucy Hope, her teammate, going in the heat before, and Hannah Miley will be back again for that one. After that, men's 200 freestyle. Keep your eyes on Jack McMillan, the Northern Ireland star from Bangor. He goes in heat 5, and Stephen Milne, the fastest, in heat 4. Of course, Olympian, part of the 4x200 for many years for both Great Britain and Scotland. And then we finish off with sprints. 50 backstroke are our sprints today. Look out for some of our Commonwealth Games Scottish stars. Cassie Wilde will be there. Kathleen Dawson will be there. So they both were representing Scotland in the 50 backstroke in the Gold Coast. And we finish off with men's 50 backstroke. We have the Greek Georgios Panoudakis of Panathinaikos, who was impressive yesterday in the 200. He goes as the fastest entry time in the men's 50 backstroke. We've also got the likes of Craig McNally, of course better known probably in the 200s, but he will be going in the 50 right at the end of this morning's programme. So lots and lots to look forward to. You can see there we've got the swimmers for our first heat at the blocks just about ready to go. They're just completing the preparations here around the poolside, so it'll probably be a minute or 2 before we get underway. So as I said, the first event is the women's 400 metres individual medley. And the 400 events, it's just the fastest 2 heats that are cycle seeded. So we've got 3 heats coming here, with more heats to come this afternoon. And so the first heat will be for the swimmers ranked 21 to 30, and then the top 20 mixed between heats 2 and heat 3. So you're looking at heat 1 there lined up and ready to go. I think we have got 9 heats. So That's how it stands. 5:14 up to 5:16. And there, in fact, is the lineup for you. 8 swimmers, in fact. Did I say 9? Can't count. So we're off and away. So the field there, El Macmillan of Arbroath St Thomas in 1, Drew Mackenzie, West Lothian in 2, Dumfries's Ava Simpson in 3, Catherine Bailey of Perth City in 4, then 2 Warrender swimmers, Millie Milne in 5 and Flora Nichols in 6, and 2 from Southport, Maisie Johnson in 7 and Scarlett Aspinall in lane 8. So 2 lengths of each stroke, and after the fly, it's pretty tight between Drew Mackenzie in the pale blue cap in lane 2 and Catherine Bailey in the red cap of Perth in lane 4. Catherine looks like she is edging into the lead now. Coming up with her, Maisie Johnson in 7 and Millie Milne in 5, along with Drew Mackenzie still over in lane 2. So they are the front runners coming up towards the 100, and there from that shot you can see that Catherine has earned herself a bit more than a body length's lead. She goes through at 1:09.12 at the 100 mark. So a nice start from her. About a second and a half up at the 100 into backstroke, and straight away Drew Mackenzie is closing that gap down. And also looking pretty strong is Maisie in lane 7. But still, I think it is Catherine holding on to that lead at the moment. Catherine, bronze medalist at national age groups, but it does look like Maisie's gone past her now. She was also bronze medalist at Northwest of England regionals. And she now has the lead by about half a second halfway through the backstroke, and she'll be clearly very strong on the backstroke here. Nice strong stroke, and using that to very good effect here. Looks very controlled in this backstroke, and opened up now a bit more than a body length advantage. Southport sent a pretty strong team up to Glasgow this weekend. It's great to have so many from the north of England joining us, along with the Greeks and the Danes and a number of other international swimmers, Irish of course. So through the halfway mark, 2:30.23 is the split. So we'll see whether the others can come back in the breaststroke. Catherine Bailey was about a second behind, and it does look like there's maybe some more twists and turns to come in this one, although Maisie still has the edge, with Catherine in the red cap, Drew in the blue, all there or thereabouts, and then Millie Milne trying to get on terms with them as well in lane 5. Coming up halfway through breaststroke, and it is still Maisie Johnson, 3:18.6 is the 250 split, and she is holding this now. At the beginning of the breaststroke it looked like they were going to come at her, but that's not happening now. She's holding Catherine Bailey about a metre or so behind her. The other two still very much there. Millie Milne increasingly so. It's perhaps just edged past Drew Mackenzie now and is about a body length behind Catherine. But it's the black-capped Maisie Johnson who is the one who's going to lead them into the freestyle. So going into the final 100. That split that's on your screen was the intermediate split halfway through the backstroke. Hopefully we'll get the 300 split up. Catherine Bailey now is pushing hard. These She's now got away from Drew and Millie and, well, is working hard now to get past Maisie Johnson. Let's see as they come to the final turn. It's going to be tight between the two of them. And, well, very little in it. 4:07.79 was split there. But actually, I think that would have been the split at the end of the breaststroke. Just confirm that. But, we've got a battle on here. See the clock now running in the 5 minutes. So it's going to be tight here, but I wouldn't like to call this one. A really good race to get us started this morning, but it looks like Catherine has the advantage now, and in fact she does take it. 5:19.26. So excellent competitive race there to start us off. Second place, Maisie Johnson. She's led for quite a lot of that, but has to settle for second in the end. 5:19.90 for her. And it was Drew Mackenzie just ahead of Millie Milne in third place. 5:22.69 the time for Drew. So that was Heat 1. We move on, as I said, to the cycle seeded heats, two of them. Now, just wait for the confirmed result here. I think there's a bit of an issue with one of the times here at Tollcross, so that will get sorted out. I think it has been now. And there is a confirmed result. So 5:19.26, Catherine Bailey winning it for Perth City. Maisie Johnson second, Drew Mackenzie third. And the lineup for Heat 2 is up on the board for you there. So Louisa Stoddart of East Lothian goes in 0. Lisa Rykoff goes in lane 1 for Aalborg. Emma Scully, City of Glasgow, in 2. Jessica Morgan of Southport in 3. Amber Keegan of City of Sheffield in 4. Orla Adams of University of Aberdeen in 5. Victoria Pallison of the Danish junior team in 6. 7 is Scarlett Ferris of Dundee City Aquatics. Rachel Hornby of Wigan Best in 8. And Holly McGill of Hearts in lane 9. Well, looks like we maybe have an empty lane in 0, so no Louisa Stoddart. Lisa Rykoff off to a good start beside her, and so is Amber Keegan. They're pretty much identical times, 31:01 for Lisa and 31:02 for Amber at the 50. Amber Keegan perhaps just edging away now. Amber, finalist in this event here in the British Championships in April, 6th place. Came up to Scotland as well for the Edinburgh International in March. So she's making good regular appearances up here. Lovely to have her. And she's now got a pretty emphatic lead at the end of the fly. 1:05.86 her split from second place. Emma Scully. I don't think it is Emma Scully. It's Orla Adams now is moving into second in lane 5 as Lisa Rykoff, who I think probably had second at the 100, just fading back now. Victoria Pallison in lane 6, just behind Orla. But Amber now is pretty well clear, 1:42.87 halfway through the backstroke, and she leads by 4.5 seconds. Then a further second back, Victoria Pallison. One of this very strong Danish junior team that's come over to Glasgow. She won the junior final in the Danish Open in March. Orla Adams just ahead of her, experienced campaigner from the University of Aberdeen. Was also a finalist in the British Championships. But it is Amber in charge here at halfway to 19.86. Orla's time 2:25.99, so a 6-second gap now between first and second. The Glasgow swimmer Emma Scully has made a little bit of a move to get close to Victoria Pallison, and now moving up in lane 3 is Southport's Jessica Morgan. So in fact, she's moving past Emma. You can just see on the right-hand side of your screen there, as you see there, that diagonal between Amber, Orla and Victoria. Quite a distance apart, although Orla is slowly bringing that gap down. Of course, breaststroke is probably her strongest suit. And she is certainly going to be a lot less than 5 seconds back now. In fact, that's closing pretty quickly in the second half of this breaststroke. She's got it down to her body length now. So this has been a really strong breaststroke leg from Orla. Amber will be looking to try and just stay ahead of her so she can regroup in the freestyle, but I'm not sure she's going to. It looks like Orla has completely closed that gap down and is now moving through. Also making some ground is Victoria Pallison, but she's still a fair way back on the leading two. But it's Orla Adams now, about 1.5 meters up with 100 to go. 3:50.18. I suspect that Amber will come back at her in the freestyle. Let's see if that comes true. So the two of them going stroke for stroke at the front of the field. And you can see there, Amber has got that lead back again. And now about 1 meter up as they approach the final turn. So Amber Keegan looking like she will take the second heat. Turns 4:24. So we're looking probably something just under 5 minutes. Entry time 4:45 for Amber. She won't be that sort of time, but you wouldn't expect that in the heat. It's about getting their time for tonight, and it'll be a job done, I think, for both Amber and Orla. For that, they'll have good lanes tonight, I'm sure, with these times. 4:58.37 is the time for Amber Keegan. Orla Adams 5:00.12, and it's Victoria Pallison in for third. Pretty tight there for fourth place. They're all coming in just about together. Rachel Hornby just getting it from lane 8, the Wigan swimmer, just ahead of Jessica Morgan and Emma Scully, all three of them coming in the 5:10s, as you can see there on the confirmed result. But Amber Keegan setting the marker, 4:58.37, with the Commonwealth champion Amy Wilmot coming up in lane 4 here. Saw her looking strong yesterday in the 200 IM. 400 is definitely her stronger event. So we'll see what she produces this morning. So heat 3, and we have Jenny Galloway of Warrender going in 0, Jennifer Green of Wigan Best in 1, Sophie Nim going in lane 2 for Gentoft, Katie Shanahan in lane 3 for City of Glasgow, Amy Wilmot is in lane 4 for University of Stirling, beside her Katrine Villesen of Aalborg, Clara Rybak Anderson from the Danish junior team is in lane 6. 7 is Katie Mackenzie, City of Glasgow. Faye McDonough of Borough of Stockton in 8. And Megan Smith of City of Oxford completes the lineup in lane 9. So Amy Wilmot will be the fancied one, but she's not got it all her own way early on here. Katrine Villesen is about 1 meter up. Joining me in the commentary box now is Stuart Johnson, you heard right at the beginning of the programme.
Hello, Duncan.
Stuart, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. Good to be here. Good to be here. A little bit of a change. I've changed into my Ali White kit now and I'm here. So, yeah, so underway in this 400 IM into this fastest heat. So, obviously everybody will be looking out for Amy Wilmot in this one, won't they?
Yes, they certainly will. And I don't think she's going to disappoint either. She had Katrine Villesen up there with her, but she's starting to move away from her. Katie Shannon, of course, is very strong on backstroke, and she's not that far away from the two in front of her in the blue cap of the City of Glasgow in lane 3. So they, you would think, will be quite a distance away from the others, and that's certainly the way it's shaping at the moment, with a nice arrowhead there as Amy Wilmot goes through the 150 turn in a 143. 66.
Yeah, it does definitely look that way, but for some of these more senior swimmers, sometimes it's about the doing enough to make the final, isn't it? And then
Oh, I think, yes, that's definitely the case. We saw that with Amber Keegan in the previous heat, a 4:58 compared with an entry time of 4:45. So, and you'd expect that sort of 5, 6 to 10 seconds in a 400 differential from what they are capable of doing. You probably wouldn't expect them to get PBs tonight either, but they'll certainly be a lot faster than they are this morning.
yeah, turn it on a bit. You can turn the motors up a bit for the final in the evening.
Yeah, they'll certainly be doing that. 2:21.78. That's actually slower than Amber Keegan's split. Of course, Amber was not particularly strong in the breaststroke, so I'd expect this probably to get reversed in this next 100. But Amy has a lead of about 1.7. Katrine Villison into second place. She did her 4:45 entry time in Spain not that long ago in the Sabadell meet. And she was also being a bronze medalist at Stockholm and winner in the Danish Open in March. So she's had a busy month or two in these last time, now in Scotland. So plenty of experience being gained from the Dane, 19-year-old from Aalborg.
Yeah, so Amy definitely turning it on here in the breaststroke leg, trying to stretch that advantage out a bit.
Yeah, she is certainly doing that. You can see the size of the lead she's got now when she was only a metre or two up at the beginning of the breaststroke. So to give you a guide, they were nearly 2 seconds behind Amber Keegan going into the breaststroke. Amber was a 3:50 at the end of the breaststroke, and I would expect that this will be faster than that.
Yeah,
We'll
got
just
a little issue with the clock at the moment by the looks of it though, so that seems to be the same in venue though, so not quite sure where she's sitting there. It's a bit of a guessing game. They're keeping us guessing on this one.
Yeah, but I saw the clock briefly show us a sort of 3:40s on the venue, so I think it was certainly faster than Amber. And well, you can see just the size of the lead. Our cameraman's working very hard to keep first and second and third in shot. Doing a great job, by the way. So there is a good race going on for second there. Katie Shanahan and Katrine Villison.
That's where the race looks to be for this one, for the second place. So Amy definitely doing enough. She'll probably ease off a bit down this final 50, knowing that she's done what she needs to do. But yeah, this second place race is definitely the one to look out for in this final heat here. Katie Shanahan looks like she's just holding on to the advantage at the moment, but can the Dane do anything to come back at her, do we think, Duncan?
Well, it's going to be close. I mean, you said Amy Wilmot was good to ease off, but well, I'm not sure she's easing off that much. She's pushed that pretty hard in that last length, and well, we'll find out what the time is. It's not coming up for us just at the moment. That second spot, I think, is going to go to Katrine Villison. Yeah. So a good contest there, but Katrine, of course, she did have the advantage on the seeding. There's also a good race coming in for fourth place, and this time it will be the City of Glasgow swimmer just edging it from the Dane. Katie McKenzie ahead of Clara Rybak-Anderson as the remaining swimmers come in. So hopefully we'll get some times up.
So I think we've got the time now for Amy Wilmot's winning time there, 4:14.98.
No, that's I think that's an intermediate split there.
Yeah,
she would be very happy with a 4:14.
I think, 4:14. She would have been. Oh, there we go. So we've got it. So we've just added it to a 4:47 now. A 4:14 would have been perfect for Amy, I'm sure. No complaints from Summer or coach on that time.
I don't think she'll be complaining with 4:47 either. That was a pretty respectable time. That was in the end 11 seconds faster than Amber Keegan in the previous heat, and she has set herself up very nicely indeed. I think the meet record set last year, Hannah Miley, was a 4:40, so that puts it into perspective. But I think well, Amy could be there or thereabouts tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if she goes that sort of 7 or 8 seconds closer that we spoke about, then she will be there or thereabouts tonight. So be an interesting one to look out for.
Yes, certainly will, and it's great to have these stars. As I said, Commonwealth Games champion, fourth in the European Championships here, just behind Hannah Miley, in fact, in that occasion. Not quite getting the golden double. So we move to men's 400 IM now. And again, we've got 3 heats. Obviously, just a little bit of a pause going on. Not quite sure why, but there's a distinct lack of swimmers there at the block. So as you saw, we have had one or two wee issues with the timing early on this morning, so they're perhaps just trying to just take a pause and get that fixed early on. So our FINA referee down at the bottom of your screen, David Downey, there just keeping a watchful eye and just getting that resolved, that wee scratch. So hopefully he's feeling better now, David. And you can see the swimmers there. Some of them just put their shirts back on and just taking a little bit of breath. You've just got to take these little delays when they come, not let it get to you.
Yeah, so I think the little issue with the timing system at the moment, Duncan, so we're just doing a little reset and getting that back up and running. So these boys, obviously, it's a little bit about how do you deal with that and what do you do?
Yeah, I think just basically keep yourself loose, keep yourself focused, and just take what comes, I guess.
Not much else you can do, I suppose.
Not really, no. I say, I'm going anyway. No, you're not. Yeah, pool's looking great here. You can see the Glasgow International Swim Meet, banners across the end of the pool, and all the people who are supporting this meet. Audi, Scots, Deans. So big thanks to them.
Yeah, and we were talking this morning actually before we came in about, have you seen the Audi e-tron out in the front?
I have not, but I wouldn't mind a go.
Well, we're all queuing up, I'm afraid, so you'll need to. I think Tom Scally's got first dibs, and then I was asking if they would take a check, but that was
not from you anyway.
harsh, Duncan. Harsh, but yeah, I think the e-tron out the front is getting quite a lot of what would we say? Quite a lot of interested people around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to have those sponsors on board because obviously they've helped greatly to put this fantastic meet together.
Yep, no doubt about that. So we'll just keep you posted as to how things progress here with this delay. Don't go away. You maybe got time to just get yourself a quick coffee before we go. Just a reminder about what's coming up after this men's 400 IM. In this 400 IM, Richard Nagy is perhaps the big name. The Slovakian just missed finals in both the European Championships and in Rio, 9th in Rio. So that's a real star name to look forward to. Next fastest was the Danish Open champion Arthur Ellegaard, and Zat Loke, who in fact won this event last year, is in the third spot. I'll also give you an update on the FINA points. There's prize money to be had on the top overall swimmers, and I can tell you that at the moment, after day one, it's Dimitris Negris, a Greek swimmer, for his excellent swim in the 1500 last night, who tops the men's rankings, and our very own Tane Bruce in the 100 fly tops the women's rankings after day one. So we'll keep an eye on that and see whether that, I'm sure it will change. There's lots of talent still to come, so if they can see their way through surviving 2 more days as the top performer, then that will be good. So it's looking promising now. We've got swimmers at the blocks. They're just testing the start system, and I think that seems to be okay. I'm just having a look at the referee there, and he's getting his whistle to his mouth, and off we go again.
Easy as that.
Yeah. I'm sure there was lots of people working very hard in that last few minutes behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, whatever the issues was, it's in the past now.
So moving on to the men's 400 metre IM here, Duncan. This first heat. Obviously we've got not a full heat, but still there is 7 swimmers there. So who are we looking out for here?
Well, the lineup: Aaron Stowe of Finns, the Kirkcaldy-based team, in 1. George Rudd of City of Oxford in 2. Arbroath St Thomas's Ryan Duncan in 3. Fraser Kelly of North Ayrshire in 4. Jack Smith of Cockermouth in 5. Lewis Maxwell of Derwoodside in 6. And Jack Munsey of Perth City in 7. Mainly juniors in this one. Exception is Aaron. So there is, of course, prize money for the top juniors. Just looking at the next couple of heats, we've got a couple of juniors still to come, a few, but I think it will be about bragging rights for the juniors in this one. Fraser Kelly, 4:47. Jack Smith, the Cockermouth 15-year-old, also 4:47. He's the one in the yellow cap there in lane 5. But the strongest start, Jack Munsey of Perth. And he, I think, is going to lead them through the 100. Not by much, though. 1:03.43, not by much. 500s.
500s, yeah. Yeah, came fairly close. Sometimes it's all about that arm stroke and where you are in the phase, isn't it? As you come into the wall, that can be the difference between a first and a second place.
So it is Jack, the Scottish Youth Squad member, who is leading the way. Don't see him doing 400 IM too often. He did it recently in Dundee. In fact, improved on his entry time. Entry time 4:50. He did a 4:46 in Dundee 2 or 3 weeks ago. So clearly a swimmer on form and showing it in the backstroke. Backstroke, I think, probably is his strongest of the 4 strokes for him. Pretty good freestyler as well. His issue might be breaststroke still to come, but we'll wait and see.
It's maybe for him then about having that strong backstroke and trying to stretch out that lead so he can afford to lose a bit of it again through the breaststroke and then maybe try and hold on through the freestyle.
Yes, I think that's right. I mean, that's what we saw with Amber Keegan in the second of the women's heats, and where Orla Adams came storming back at her in the breaststroke, but then Amber had enough in the freestyle just to get back and secure the win. See what happens with Jack, though. 2:14.17. He's got a sizable lead at halfway of 4.5 seconds now.
Yeah.
Bit more than the few hundredths that he had at the end of the fly.
Yeah, so strong backstroke leg indeed. And like you say, he's maybe not the strongest on breaststroke, so it's game on for the other swimmers. Look out for the swimmer over there on the far side, George Rudd of Oxford. He seems to be quite strong through this breaststroke leg. He's coming back into it.
Yeah, I think it's he is certainly just about there now. George Rudd, he's entered on a 4:50 as well, and well, he's completely closed that gap down in the first half of the breaststroke, so expect him to pull away strongly now in the second half. 2:59.05, about a quarter of a second up on Jack Munsey. Also now sniffing at Jack is Lewis Maxwell of Derwent's side, and the Cockermouth swimmer Jack Smith also moving up. So it does very graphically display, you know, how you have to swim this event differently depending on your strengths and weaknesses. Basically, it maximises your strengths, minimise your weaknesses.
Yeah, that's the thing about the 400 IM. You've got to be proficient in all 4 of the strokes, obviously, but every swimmer's going to have their stronger strokes and their weaker strokes. So each of these swimmers will have come into this race with a different race plan, looking to use those strengths. But it is George Rudd of Oxford who looks like he's maybe executed his plan through the first 350 at least.
Yeah, Lewis Maxwell, I think, could be a threat to him. You're seeing him there in the white cap of Derwent's side, and there's Jack Munsey just behind him as well. As we focus on there, you can see that Lewis is closing the gap pretty quickly here, and then we've got Jack Smith and Jack Munsey battling for third, turning together. So this is going to be tight, I think. Jack Munsey is making a bit of a comeback here. He had a lot of ground to make up, but he is pushing hard. So, well, the strong breaststroke of George Rudd will be trying to hang on now from Lewis Maxwell and Jack Munsey, and these 3 coming down very, very tight indeed. Can George Rudd hang on to this one? I think maybe he can.
Yeah, possibly just going to hold on to it, but as we say, that very strong finish. No, he didn't. Lewis Maxwell, 0.03 of a second from George Rudd there. Just even at the 5 metres there, it looked like it was still going to be George Rudd, but Lewis just with the stronger finish there and just taking the touch. Yeah,
and it just illustrates that, what we were saying perfectly, doesn't it, about the different strengths and weaknesses. He looked like, even at the 350, he looked like he had it pretty much there, and he was looking fairly steady and solid in the freestyle, but, well, there was a certain Mr. Maxwell who thought differently, and, well, great finish from him.
Good to see him take that opportunity as well, though.
Yeah, very strong. So on to Heat 2. This time we do have a full pool. And they're off and away. Ben Gilchrist going for Durham City in 0. Samuel Naylor of Newcastle in 1. Jay Manners City of Sunderland in 2. Daniel Gyurtsadis of Greece in 3. Arthur Ellegaard of the Danish junior team in 4, with his teammate Lucas Strobeck in 5. North Ayrshires Rory Dixon in 6. Then Max Underwood of City of Oxford in 7. Samuel Chittleborough of Warrender in 8. And Mark Ford from the City of Glasgow in lane 9.
So through the first 50 then, it was the 3 swimmers in the centre lanes there, the 3 internationalists who have led us out. But Mark Ford on the near side here, he's sticking about with them at the moment.
Yeah, very strong fly swimmer, Mark, and perhaps no surprise. I think he might struggle to stay with them later on, but, well, we'll see. It's a white battle of the white caps, the Danes and the Greek swimmer.
Of course, this is the Danish junior team for the European juniors, isn't it? So they'll be looking to see where they are and kind of where they rank against some of the other swimmers, just get a little feel for where they're sitting at the moment.
Yeah, it's a great experience for this Danish team to get out onto an international trip ahead of the European juniors, almost a sort of dress rehearsal, I suppose, for them, and they'll be looking to take full advantage of that and really gel as a team. We saw a great ceremony from them yesterday.
We did, yeah. That was we weren't quite expecting that, but definitely a team ethos going on there.
Yeah, and it is Ellegaard who is leading them through the 150, 137.61, about a second up on Strobeck.
It's a couple of seconds faster than we saw in that first heat as well. So interesting to see. We're not quite sure with Arthur here what his stronger strokes are. So is he faster in the first half of this? Well, time will tell on that one.
He is one of the more experienced swimmers in this Danish junior team. He won the Danish Open, not just the junior event, but the senior event. And he represented Denmark in last year's European Juniors, just missing the final in this event. He does have the advantage by 4/10 on his teammate, 2:13.21. Strobeck was second in that Danish Open, so they will know each other's skills, strengths and weaknesses well. And it does look like maybe Strobeck is the slightly stronger breaststroker. We'll see whether Gyurtsidis can make any sort of comeback here. Good news, the meet treasurer has just given us an expense form. Happy days.
Apparently, I've just had a signal to say no, I'm not getting one.
No, well, you've not worked hard enough, Stuart.
No, it's because I came in late, Duncan, that's me. Yeah, but still really close in the water here between these two. But like you say, it's closed right up, so just over a tenth between the two of them at the turn. But it does look now like it is Lucas Strobeck who has taken the advantage. But as usual, whenever I say that, the lead changes again. The old commentator's curse there.
Absolutely, side by side pretty much, though, as we come down towards the 300. Gyurtsidis doesn't look like he can live with the Danes here. He's quite a long way back, and then we've got Rory Dixon and Max Underwood. So we saw a great Oxford performance in the previous heat, and Max is trying to keep that going here in lane 7. But at the front, there's about 3/10 between Ellegaard and Strobeck in Ellegaard's favour, 3:30, 3:26. About 7 seconds faster than the previous heat. You might have thought it might have been more than that, given this is a cycle-seeded heat, but that is the gap.
Not much of a gap at all there, is it?
So these two guys going at it pretty hard here. They'll be under instructions of some sort as to how to swim these heats. They'll both be confident of a final spot for tonight, but doesn't look like they're easing up too much, particularly Strobeck, who perhaps just wants to make a point to his teammate. I think he's going to struggle to catch him, although we said that in the last heat and proved to be wrong.
I'm keeping quiet this one.
But I think Ellegaard is going to hold on to this one. I'll stake my reputation on that, what little reputation I've got, and it is going to be Ellegaard bringing it in. Keep an eye on the clock at the bottom there, 4:34.22. So Ellegaard entered 4:26. I guess that's probably about where he'd have wanted to be for his heat swim. Good, competent swim. We saw Arthur here last year. He was the runner-up last year. I wonder if he has a chance to go one better here. He's got this certain presence of the Slovakian Richard Nagy to deal with, though, and that will be perhaps a tough ask to be as fast as him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here.
Fortunately, I think we had a disqualification in that one there, Duncan.
So we have lane 1, Samuel Naylor has incurred the wrath of the officials. So unfortunately, we'll not be seeing him tonight in this one anyway. There's the lineup for Heat 3. Cameron Allison of Dumfries in 0. Conor McNeil of City of Glasgow in 1. Gianni Napolitano from the University of Stirling in 2. Angus Allison of Warrender in 3. Then it's Richard Nagy of City of Sheffield. Zach Logue, the winner last year from the City of Sunderland. Alfie Kelly of Newcastle in 6. Kenji McDade, City of Oxford in 7. Niklas Pettersson in lane 8 for the Danish junior team. And Jamie Ferguson of Midlothian in lane 9. Good start in lane 2 from Napolitano in the black cap. And then Nagy in 4, Logue in 5.
Good start
Also
from
lane
the
8,
Dane there, yeah.
Pedersen going well.
He had the lead at the 50 there, so 20:11. You can see his time there on the screen. Strong butterfly again. Fairly even though for those first sort of 4 or 5 spots. Split up a little bit across the pool, but centre lanes there. They'll be looking to come back, I'm sure, with the way this is seeded. We would expect the winner to come from the centre lanes, but doesn't always work out that way.
No, it doesn't, but let's wait and see. It is certainly going to be Nicholas Pedersen at the end of the fly, 1:01.57. That's about half a second faster than the split from the last heat, but straight away into the backstroke, I think they're closing him down. And you can see Nagy starting to go now in lane 4. Talked about him earlier, just missing final spots in the European Championships last August and also in Rio in 2016. Both times he was 9th. It's probably even worse than being 4th. I mean, 4th,
Probably,
you can see
yeah,
that medal, but saying I was an Olympic finalist, but no, not quite. That was heartbreaking.
Just outside it, and to think of all the hours of work and training in those early mornings that you put in, and yeah, I think for me that would probably be a little bit worse than not making. At least if you make the final, you can say that you've made that final. But yeah, definitely we've seen through the backstroke there. He's definitely turned on here. Slightly higher stroke rate than the other swimmers there as well. So that's moving him down the pool well.
Yes, and of course he'll be eyeing up Tokyo 2020. And that's another day, another pool. Halfway mark. It's like we're around the 2:09 mark. So that is some 4 seconds faster. 2:09.06, 4 seconds faster than the previous heat. And you see there just the scale of that lead. So backstroke very much a differentiator for Richard over the rest of the field, and looks like he's maybe increasing this lead in the breaststroke.
I think this is a statement of intent here, Duncan.
I think so. And just keep an eye on the meet record. That stands at 4:28. I think that could be in trouble this morning. Did see a couple of meet records broken in the heats yesterday morning. A lot more in the finals. We've got a really high-class field this year here in Glasgow. And Nagy certainly is one of them, one of the stars. Training down in Sheffield at Ponds Forge, of course, among a centre place for British swimming. So many major events have been held there. And Richard Nagy completely dominating
here, because we seem to have a few gremlins in the timing again. So we'll need to see what happens, but yeah, definitely a good strong 15 metres plus of an advantage here, so he's definitely going to take the win in this one, and it's just about what sort of time he can set.
Yeah, and again we've got a pretty close contest for second. We can't see that at the moment, but when Richard turns we'll see them all coming up. Let's concentrate on Richard though. In the freestyle it does look like he's eased back now, and is the hard work's been done, and he will now just be seeing this off down this final 50 now. There's that contest for second place. It's Zach Logue just ahead of Alfie Kelly and Kenji McDade. This nice close up there of our leader Richard Nagy as he comes down the final length past the Markers there at 15 metres underneath the flags, and he is going to bring this one in. We'll just need to wait for the time. And that's 3:39, was an intermediate split. There was that low coming in for second, just ahead of Alfie Kelly and Kenji McDade. So I guess our electronics gurus have got their work cut out this morning. Things just not quite going their way. It's a good tight race coming in here. Lanes 1 and 9, 2 outside lanes. That was close. Cameron Allison and Jamie Ferguson in the white and the green.
Good to see these swimmers racing right to the end there though, because that obviously was for 8th and 9th, but still definitely both going for it towards the end there.
Yeah, so of course there's lots of different objectives going on. They could be going for squad times, and the Scots who have the chance to get qualifying times for youth development squad and the like, and also of course rankings. This is the last weekend for the British swimming window.
Yeah,
so
closes on Tuesday, isn't it?
That's right. So there is the result. We have a confirmed result, 4:29.80 for Richard, taking the win there, about 4.5 seconds faster than Heat 2, with Zach Logan second, 4:39.16, and Alfie Kelly 4:39.73 in third place. So that was the 400 IM done. We move now to 100 breaststroke. There you can see the swimmers for the first heat. We've got 5 heats to come in this one. We wait patiently for the officials to call them to the blocks. The line-up there for the first heat. Erin Taylor of Finns, Ellie Turner of Carnegie, so a 5 contest over in the top of the screen. Ava Simpson of Dumfries, Neve Aitchison of Morpeth, Abby Winstanley of Cockermouth, then 2 South Ayrshire swimmers, Caitlin Duffy and Kira Sterica. Western Bartonshire's Isla Walker in 7, and Perth's Emma McPartland in lane 8. Entry times in this first heat, all in the 1:17, so this could be very close indeed.
Yeah, definitely with the shorter distance as well. You've not got as much time to work on that, so looking for a good close race here in our first heat of the 100 breaststroke.
Strong start from the Cockermouth swimmer Abby Winstanley. I think she is looking like she's got the edge over the 2 girls from South Ayrshire. Was a finalist in the Swim England summer meet last season. She'll be hoping, I'm sure, to get into the British meet, which of course will be back here in Glasgow in July.
Yeah,
into August.
Lots of the big meets. Obviously we've just had the British Champs and the British Para International meet here, and then we've obviously got those summer championships back here in Glasgow, and then obviously turn of the year we will also have the European short course, so a great year for Glasgow in swimming.
Yes, certainly is. It's on a run, of course, with the European Championships last year as well. This is a fascinating one, though. The 2 from South Ayrshire rattling around with Abby Winstanley, who's going to get the touch. Looks like Abby holds on, but also lane 1, Ellie Turner. You don't think of Ellie as a breaststroker, but she pushed in a really strong breaststroke there, and well, she got it.
Yeah.
Dead heat, in fact. Ellie Turner and Abby Winstanley, 1:18.09.
There you go. We said it would be close, but to organise a joint first place is quite impressive.
All part of the service. So 1:18.09 was the standard set there, just outside the 1:17s that they were entered on. On to heat number 2. Line up for this one, another Cockermouth swimmer. Sophie Huggan goes in 0. Sophie Hall of Warrender in 1. Saskia Wade, City of Glasgow in 2. Kristen Russell of East Lothian in 3. Rachel Hornby of Wigan Best in 4. Ciara Davidson of Margay and Besden in 5. Faye McDonough of Borough of Stockton in 6. Alyssa McElroy of Southport in 7. Devon Anderson from the University of Aberdeen in 8. And Catherine Danes of Halstead in lane 9. This one, we're into the 1:16s and the 1:17s entry time, so will this one be as close as the last one?
It looks like it so far, Duncan. They're fairly close together coming up the pool. Definitely the first 4 or 5 swimmers there, definitely battling it out. But at the turn there, it does just go the way of Saskia Wade of City of Glasgow. So Saskia in her home pool here. So I'm sure she'll be looking to put in a strong performance.
Yeah, broke her wrist just before national age group, so wasn't able to swim in national age group. So she's got the ground to make up, really, in terms of getting good times in the window. And she'll be looking to make full advantage of this. Probably breaststroke is her strongest event. Saskia, Youth Development Squad member this year, West District Long Course champion. But pushing her hard, Faye McDonough in lane number 6. So it's going to be tight between these two. Are we going to have another dead heat? Not quite this time. It was Faye who got the touch, 1:17.82. Saskia, 1:18.11. And in third place, it's Rachel Hornby, 1:18.81. So slightly faster than the first heat. Faye McDonough getting the touch in the end of the last, strong last 25 from her. The line up there for heat number 3, the first of the cycle seeded heats. Victoria Dawson of Southport in 0 and Hutchison in lane 1 for Edinburgh University. Ilizan Pinfold of City of Oxford in 2. Katie Goodburn of Warrender in 3. Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University in 4. Ola Adams, fresh from that 400 IM, goes in lane 5 for University of Aberdeen. Astrid Nielsen from the Danish junior team in 6. Nicole Reynolds of Finns in 7. Ailey Redpath of Midlothian in 8. And completing the field, Amber Owen from Edinburgh University. So you'd expect this one to be more emphatic with the swimmers in the centre lanes dominating. Cara Hanlon, second in the 50 yesterday, leads them through, 32.83.
Looks like Orla Adams, though, in one of those centre lanes has got a bit to do down this second 50. Normally stronger in the first half of the race or second half of the race, Duncan?
Well, she has, of course, had that 400 IM not that long ago, and maybe that's still in her body, because she doesn't look like she's really going to figure in this one, hoping probably just to do enough to get a second swim, whether that's in the A or the B final. No one's going to get close to Cara, I think. Astrid Nielsen looking set for second place, and then Katie Goodburn, who was the top junior in the 50 breaststroke yesterday, she's going to take third place here. So Cara, emphatic lead and win for her. The Edinburgh University swimmer was second in the transition final. That's essentially a B final in the British Championships. Fourth in British Universities and second last year in the British Summer Championships. And second here last year. Still just waiting for times to come up. I can see 1:10.06 up on the screen. I think that might be Cara's time, but we'll just wait confirmation of that. So
it was definitely there or thereabouts on the 1:10, but we'll just wait on that official result coming up to see was it a 1:10.06, but it probably likely is.
So 1:09.21 entry time for Cara. So if it was a 1:10.06, that's a very respectable heat swim.
Yeah,
fairly
quick.
Fairly quick, yeah, I would say so. We've got heat 4 there ready on the blocks, but we're still waiting for a confirmed result from heat 3. So those leaders are going to have to just hang on for a moment or two as we await patiently. So these slight delays just sent to try everybody, and this won't be ideal for them. It's one thing to be waiting, sitting on the seats at the back behind the blocks, but another thing to be called up and then left hanging, if you like, at the blocks. I think perhaps rather that they were asked to go back again and just ease off.
Yeah, especially when you've got that race prep in your mind of the sequence you're going to go through, and then that sequence is broken, then that's maybe something that the more senior swimmers will be a little bit more attuned to, that they can almost reset and start again. But yeah, I think definitely, probably, I think they're just telling the swimmers to relax just now there, so these swimmers are going to go back to their seats now. Obviously we see there they don't all choose to do that. Some of them, it's a case of once I'm at that block, that's where I'm staying.
Yeah, well, now they have all gone back, so apologies for the slightly stop-start nature that we're having this morning. Obviously, there are a few technical issues here in Glasgow. I'm sure everyone's working really hard to resolve those. Still just waiting to get confirmation of that last result. Still seeing 1:10.06 appearing for Cara Hanlon on our screen, but we're not seeing any other times at all, so we do obviously need to check that one out, make sure everybody gets credited with the right time. Then you can see the view down the pool in this magnificent venue. International Swimming Centre, of course, significant rebuild before the Commonwealth Games in 2014 here in Glasgow. That stand on your right didn't exist before then, and so it's a big stand, can take a lot of people, and I certainly remember in 2014 when everybody was up there and it was absolutely humming.
I remember the same last year at the European Championships. I was lucky enough to be here during those championships, and it was the same to have those stands full. And also what you're seeing as the start end of the pool this weekend, basically where that black curtain was filled with temporary seating as well. So when you get this venue full and everybody's up for it, especially when those home internationalists came on, it was definitely, there was an atmosphere, we can put it that way.
Yeah, there certainly was. So we're here though at the Glasgow International Swim Meet, and see there's well, it's a huge gallery there, and you can see some people up there. There's actually more people behind that Glasgow International Swim Meet board that you can see, so it's slightly busier than perhaps that gave the impression. Officials have still got lots to say to each other as we swimmers. I think that was Katie Goodburn just going through your screen after her third place, still waiting to find out what her time was. Talking about Audi before, just rub it in, why don't you? And there's the swimmers just waiting patiently there.
Interesting to see there, Duncan. Obviously we've got the two swimmers in shot there, and as I say that, I was about to say one of them has chose to put a top on and keep a little bit warmer, and just as I said that, then our swimmer from East Kilbride there decided to do the same thing. It's important for these swimmers to keep warm though, isn't it? Obviously They've went through their preparations, they've warmed up, and then a delay like this, obviously they've got to do something to then try and stay race ready.
Yeah, so you're looking at Nicoletta Pavlopoulou, one of our Greek guests here. I'm sure that cap is fine, but it keeps you busy, doesn't it? Just checking it all out, making sure, and just get every last detail right. Nothing left to chance. Just keep all those muscles relaxed and ready to go. So yeah, frustrating for the swimmers, a bit frustrating for our officials there. You can see they're all sort of, they've got a job to do, and at the moment they're being prevented from doing it. But, well, let's just talk back a bit about last night. What was highlights from your perspective and what we saw last night?
I think we spoke a little bit about this morning, and interestingly, one of the events I was most interested in last night was that fastest heat of the 1500 freestyle. Obviously we had the Greek swimmer in that who pretty much raced against himself for his time there, but set the new meet record in that, and it was great to see kind of that mental battle, if you want, where he was swimming against himself but against the clock as well. And we saw quite a bit of stuff on the live stream of his coach kind of trying to egg him on and make sure that he kept stroke rate up, he kept his legs kicking, and to be able to do that when you're kind of out there by yourself, that takes a bit of training as well.
Yes, it does. Because we saw Ross Murdoch in the 50 breaststroke. We didn't have Adam Peaty, he's not here this weekend, but we had second, third, fourth and fifth in the British Championships, all battling against each other in that 50 breaststroke, and it was Ross who triumphed narrowly in the end.
Yeah, it was good to see Tane Bruce go under the minute in the butterfly again as well. I know she's done that a few times, but it was good to see that step up from her heat swim to her final swim, just to show that she could pick that up and execute that plan that she would have had for the meet.
Yeah, so just looking at the scoreboard here in the venue, and they've moved on to heat number 4, so my guess is what's happening is they'll have taken perhaps manual times, or they'll have the electronics but can't get them on the board for the times from heat 3, and it may well be that we won't be able to see those times here, but do rest assured they will have been captured into the system and be properly processed. So we are now moving on to heat 4, And there is the lineup. Sophia Silla of City of Oxford in 0, Natalie Coogans of University of Stirling in 1, Lucy Ross of East Kilbride in 2, Nicoletta Pavlopoulou in lane 3 for Greece, Katie Robertson of South Ayrshire in 4, in lane 5 it's Thea Blomsterberg from the Danish junior team, Ellie Riley of Heart of Midlothian in 6, Yvonne Brown of East Kilbride in 7, Jennifer Green of Wigan Best in 8, and Rebecca Keatley goes in lane 9 for Middlesbrough. So it's nice to be back swimming.
Yeah, so these swimmers obviously had a bit of an unscheduled break there, so who's done what, who's managed to keep active. Dead heat at the 50 there though, both swimmers starting on 33.23, so we've said we've had some close heats, and yet another one where it seems to be very close through the early stages of this one.
Yes, Katie Robertson, very much a star in the making in Scottish breaststroke circles, and beside her the Dane Thea Blomsterberg, the winner of the junior final at the Danish Open. So these two pretty much stroke for stroke. I was going to say Thea might just have the edge at...
yeah, I think you're right there, Duncan. Looking
sure.
at the pool, I think she's just going to sneak it. And she does, yeah. So 1:10.91 there for the Dane from Katie Robertson, 1:11.15.
So if we were right about Cara Hannon's 1:10.06, then that would be a bit faster than that heat. There, we've got results. That's nice to see. Katie Robertson 1:11.15 and Nicoletta Pavlopoulou 1:12.16 in third place. All those three, I'm sure, will be looking and expecting to feature in the A final tonight. And we're able to get straight on into the final heat. We talked about Mona McSharry. Looked very strong yesterday. Winner in the 50 breaststroke, second in the freestyle sprint. Aoife Marley goes in lane 0 for Witham Dolphins. Jessica Morgan of Southport in 1. Amelie Anderson of the Danish junior team in 2. Lane 3 is Annabelle Guy-Johnson of Edinburgh University. Then we've got Mona McSharry of Marlins in Northern Ireland. Hannah Miley, one of her less familiar events, goes in lane 5 for University of Aberdeen. Eve Thompson, University of Stirling in 6. Bridget Le Mesurier of East Lothian in 7. Katie Mackenzie, City of Glasgow in 8. And Zoe McDonald of the University of Stirling in lane 9. 32.05, that is the fastest halfway split we've seen. And, well, Mona McSharry pretty much dominating this one.
She's won a lot of events this weekend, it looks, as well. We saw her in a couple of the finals last night. We kind of had her touted as a Mona McSharry versus Edinburgh University battle last night in every final that she was swimming, and she did well last night, and she looks to have continued that form into today.
100 breaststroke, probably her strongest event. She was 4th in the Youth Olympic Games in this one last year, and she took that pretty comfortably. Tight contest for second there, just going to Hannah Miley against Annabelle Guy-Johnson, 1:11.69 and 1:11.91. Of course, Hannah recovering from long-term injury. She had an operation at the end of last year, and really is it's a long fight back for Hannah. I think very much the target is Tokyo. 1:08.98, so that is the time to beat. She set the meet record last year, Mona, 1:08.24, so within 3/4 of a second of that, and I think that'll go tonight. That's my prediction.
Is that your prediction? We'll write that down and we'll check that out later on then, Duncan.
Yep, do that. I'm confident.
Oh, exuding confidence there.
I have faith in Ms. McSharry. So on to the men now. Again, we've got 5 heats. You can see there.
In this first heat, we're going to see that youngster Stefan Kravich of East Lothian. He's doing great things about Scottish swimming, isn't he, at the moment?
Yes. Perhaps slightly less so in breaststroke than in the other events. Fly probably is number 1, and I am increasingly as well. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do in breaststroke here. He's going in lane 1, so at the top of your screen in the dark cap. Beside him, Finlay Wallace of Arbro St Thomas. Lane 3, now this is a dark horse here. Nick Pyle going here. I suspect he'll be a lot faster his entry time of 1:09.40. Then we've got Freddie Wilkinson of City of Oxford, Lewis Bailey of University of Aberdeen, Jack Smith of Cockermouth, and Will Murray of Winsford. So that's my top tip on this one. Lane number 3. Don't let me down, Nick.
I'm dragging all this information out of you this morning. Dragging all this information out and getting all these top tips. But yeah, so fairly even as they come up to the first 50 here, but it is that swimmer Nicholas Pyle of Newcastle who looks like he's maybe just going to have the touch, although he's been closely. He does just take it there from Will Murray. Not much between the first 3 or 4 swimmers here though, so Nicholas Pyle is going to have to work. If he continues like this though, likely to get in under that entry time.
It's a tight contest for second behind him. Freddie Wilkinson, Lewis Bailey and Will Murray all up there. And as you said, they are staying in touch with Nick. He's got maybe, well, best part of a body length advantage. He's certainly going to take the heat. Take the time, 1:07.87, so that is about a second and a half faster than his entry time. So, as I thought, very experienced swimmer, it's a bit of a surprise to see him in this first heat. So, I think probably not a great surprise to see him quite a bit faster than his entry time. Freddie second, 1:08.96, and Lewis third, 1:09.20. On to heat 2. There's your lineup. Oscar Smiley, South Ayrshire in 0. Murek McSharry of Marlins in 1. Carl Lundborg of Gentoft in 2. Mark Stoops from University of Stirling in 3. Jay Manners of City of Sunderland in 4. Fraser Allison of Warrender in 5. Oscar Heald is here today. He wasn't here yesterday. He goes in lane 6. Greg Fairbairn in 7 for Bells Hill. Ross Burns of Hamilton in 8 and Kenji McDade of City of Oxford in lane 9. Lane 7, Greg Fairbairn. He's been in pretty sharp form so far this weekend and he turns in 31.59, a couple of tenths faster than the first heat split. So about a metre in it. Lane 4, Jay Manners of Sunderland is pushing him on. Jay second in the Northeast Regionals recently. That was faster than his entry time by about a second in the Sunderland pool. But also Kenji McDade is finishing really strongly in lane 9. Is he going to edge it? Oh, it was close, but no, just Jay. Just Jay by 900ths. 1:08.50 for him. 1:08.59 for Kenji. Absolutely storming down that last few metres from lane 9. And Greg Fairbairn taking third. So into the cycle seeded heats. Heat 3. City of Oxford produce a whole barrel load of strong breaststrokers, and one of them, David Murphy, goes in lane 4 in this one. Full lineup: Jack Green of Edinburgh University, Ross Young, his teammate, Max Hagan of City of Glasgow, Kyle Boyack of University of Stirling. Then it's David Murphy, Owen Corby of the Limerick National Centre goes in 5, George Clough, University of Stirling in 6, Cameron Muir, City of Glasgow in 7. Then we have Jonathan Chung Yi from Hamburg in lane 8 and Matthew Garrity of Inverclyde in lane 9. So David Murphy is certainly setting off at pace here, 28.60, much faster than anything we've seen. 5th in the British Championships in this one. Winner of this event last year, silver medalist in the British Summer Championships. So we're talking about pedigree breaststroking here. Owen Corby, really promising Irish swimmer, 17-year-old bronze medalist in the Irish Championships, is pushing him though in the second half increasingly, but he's not going to catch him. David in the dark blue cap there, up by a body length, brings it in, and that's a very respectable heat swim, 1:02.18, just a second away from his entry time.
Didn't look even to ease off much as he came into the finish there. He was making sure that he just kept it going and got that win.
Well, I'm sure they'll be told increasingly now, I think, not to ease off in the heat, even if you're winning comfortably, because when they get to a bigger meet, You can't do that.
Can't ease off, yeah.
So,
you never know who's around you.
yeah, so don't get in the habit, I think, is the message.
That's the thing. It's one of these things that we always tell younger swimmers as well, isn't it? You've got to do in training what you would do in a race. If you're going into walls and not working off the wall, then how can you expect to just turn that on in a race every time?
Absolutely. So this is heat number 4. We've got Yusuf Batut in 0, Ewan Leslie in 1, Andrew McIntosh in 2, Oliver Crosby in 3, Craig Benson, the double Olympian, in 4, Zach Aitchison in 5, Connor Bryan in 6, Lawrence Langley in 7, and Thomas Cannon in lane 8. And leading the way here in lane 5 is Zach Aitchison. So we've got a sterling battle at the centre here. 28.73 is the split. So slightly slower than David Murphy's, but only by a tenth. Craig Benson's got some work to do here because Zach at the moment has the edge on him. And, well, also up there in lane 6, Connor Bryan, another from the city of Oxford. The three of them, though, all bunching up now. And Benson coming through. Has just eased it down the first 50 and turning it on in the second 50 to take it in 1:03.11. Expect him to go a lot faster than that tonight. Slower than David Murphy's time from the previous heat. Connor Bryan there in second, 1:03.82, and Oliver Crosby taking third. Zach Aitchison fading a lot there in the second half, so that fourth place just leaves him a bit on the cusp for the A final.
Yeah, it'll depend on what these swimmers do in this final heat. So a little bit of a nervous wait.
Yep, he'll find out shortly as heat 5 goes. And the star of the show, I think, here, Ross Murdoch going in for. Not the full lineup: Ross Neely of City of Glasgow, Callum Laurie of University of Stirling, Joel O'Halloran of Derwent Side, Archie Goodburn of Warrender. Then it's Ross Murdoch from the University of Stirling, the Irishman Nick Quinn from Edinburgh University in 5, Usain Cook of Limerick in 6, Jack McComish, City of Glasgow in 7, and 2 West Lothian swimmers, John Keane in 8 and Craig Barnes in 9. So it is Murdoch leading the way here by about 1.5 meters. 29.23 again, not that fast in his first 50, in fact slower than both the last 2 heats. In the red cap, Archie Goodburn, one of real up-and-coming talents in Scotland. So he is holding second, but Murdoch pulling away. So it seems to be adopting a fairly similar tactic to Craig Benson, his teammate in the previous heat. So 1:02.18 was David Murphy's time, so this is faster. So pushing it on harder in the second half than he did in the first half. Interesting tactic that, and I guess in a way that plays to what we were talking about not easing back in the heat. So if you are going to ease back, then do it in the first half, not the second half.
See what you have to do through the second half. Yeah, but I would expect to see Ross go faster than that this evening in the final. I'm sure he has held something back there. He did have to work through that second half, but I'm sure he will have a bit more in the tank again for tonight's final, so he can get away and have a bit of a rest now and just prepare for this evening.
So we're just seeing the summary, and it was Ross Murdoch will be in lane 4 in the A final with David Murphy beside him, and then Craig Benson. They're the top 3 qualifiers in that one. So certainly that's a class final to look forward to tonight. That's going to be one of the highlights, I think.
Absolutely, but moving on now, back to the women again, and we're moving on now to the 200 butterfly.
3 heats here, so just the 3 seeded heats go in this one. We've got more heats, of course, this afternoon. And the finals tonight. There's the lineup for heat 1. Lauren Chalmers of Ren 96 in 0. Emma Scully, City of Glasgow. Amber Keegan back for her second swim for City of Sheffield. She's had a bit more recovery time than we saw for Orla Adams, who was battling with Amber in the 400 IM.
Yeah, absolutely. Orla, maybe a little bit of a clash in the event programme there for Orla.
Completing the lineup, then we've got Joe Hobsley of Barnet in lane 3, Isabel Jones from the University of Stirling in 4, Krista Wilson in lane 5 for Newcastle, Sophie Barker of City of Sheffield in 6th, Leonie Jones from the Borough of Stockton in 7, and Adele McDade of Heart of Midlothian in lane 8. 4 lengths of the pool, centre lanes side by side pretty much, Isabel Jones and Krista Wilson. Isabel in her first season at the University of Stirling, up from Millfield before that. And she's just behind Krista Wilson now. And Krista in the junior final in the British Championships here in April. And she leads the way, 1:06.5 up on your screen there. But we'll keep an eye on lane 2, Amber Keegan. So we saw her fly in the IM was pretty strong. And
I think that 1:06.5 at the 100 was actually Amber's time, Duncan, looking at the venue board there. So she actually had the lead at the 100 as well. So she'll be looking to hold on to that. Like we say, she's already swam this morning, so she will still be suffering from that a bit, but doesn't look to be that way just now. Still holding on to it at the 150.
yeah, at 400, I'm just a bit of a warm-up for the 200 fly, clearly.
Well, this is a sprint to her now, isn't it? 200 fly, we do those for fun.
Yeah, the perfect morning scenario. 400 IM followed by 200 fly. What could be better? Amber certainly looking good to take this one. It is Krista Wilson in 2nd and Sophie Barker in 3rd. These 3 with Clearwater over the remaining lineup, and Amber with Clearwater over 2nd place as well. So a good morning's work from Amber. I think she'll be pretty happy with the way it's gone. Let's check on what the time is.
Just waiting our time coming up. I think our timing gremlins have returned.
Yeah, it just seems to be a feature of this morning, so apologies once again for that. But we will wait patiently and see what Amber's time is. She came in on a 2:23, and so we'll see how her time compares with that. I imagine there'll be certain people with responsibility for the electronics that'll have even less hair now than I've got, having pulled it all out.
I don't think either me or you, Duncan, or anybody would be speaking about hair left. we could sort that out because we wouldn't lose the hair at the same time. So
they are clearing the pool as well, which just tells you again that I think we're going to be faced with another delay. And that's just the lineup from the screen, and you see that clock still ticking away at the top. So that suggests that we've definitely got some more issues to sort out. Ho hum, these things happen.
Yeah. So obviously we spoke about my highlight from last night. What were your highlights, Duncan? You were obviously in here in the venue. What did you see that impressed you last night?
Yeah, so you talked about Tate Bruce's 100 fly, and certainly that was up there for her to go sub-minute, as you said. I enjoyed seeing the 50 freestyle as well. Jack Thorpe, although his certainly hadn't shaved down for the meet, lots of hair on him. But he looked very strong, very promising. Scottish record holder in the men's 50 freestyle, and then following that with the really tight contest in the women's 50 freestyle that somehow Lucy Hook just managed to sneak, so that was a good race. Then you see the swim down facility. It's fairly crowded over there, just a 4-lane 25-metre pool. And
one of those lanes looks to be the social chat lane by the looks of it.
Well, that's I think is what you'd expect here. It's a social sport as well, although you're swimming for yourself. You very much create these really close bonds with the swimmers that you swim up against on a regular basis. And the same for officials too, social for them. Not sure what's going on there.
It's better not to ask.
It's
maybe they're talking about what's happening with these people that are fixing the electronics and lines that are appearing on their forehead as we go through this session.
I thought it was the second half of head, shoulders, knees and toes, almost the eyes and ears bit.
Possibly. We need to see if we can find out what that chat was about.
Oh, it's still going on. Yep, that's the ears. Yep.
So
neck, I don't think neck comes into it.
We have nose.
Cheek. 2 cheeks. Oh, well. Neck
Def-
again.
I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but yeah, definitely engaged in conversation.
Yeah. Well, this is getting serious now. We're talking about catalogues of injuries, maybe. This is where I did my neck. Or my thumb as well. Yeah. So, we are one heat down in the 200 fly. We were definite that Amber Keegan won it. We're still waiting for a confirmed time for her. 2 more heats of that to come. Then we'll go to the men's 200 fly, women's 200 free, men's 200 free, and 50 backstroke to follow that. There are officials. So just looking up anxiously to see what's going on. Of course, they are pretty much at the mercy of the electronics. I can see our timing system guru Sean Dawson rushing down there to try and fix something or just give them an update on what's going on. Lane 5 block. Next on to that will be East Kilbride's Yvonne Brown, again doing a retest of the start system.
So I think, Duncan, I was just nipped off to see what I can find out. I think we are going to have to go with a manual system, so obviously all those times are still going to count, but we're not going to have the information on screen, unfortunately, and the venue won't have the information on the board either, so need to get the stopwatches out, I think. So we can see those swimmers just completing. For some of those it'll be warm-up. For some of them it'll be a cool down after their swims. It's just as important to have the cool down as it is to have the warm-up. So those swimmers will be going through. They're obviously tuned in to where they need to be for each of their individual races. They'll have discussions with their coach about what they should be looking to do when. So we are hopefully going to get going again in just a couple of minutes. Obviously some issues going on with the timing systems this morning, so they are looking to get those resolved, but I think we are going to go to manual timing in the interim period. So I mean, even to go to that, Duncan, that's not a normal thing. We do occasionally need a couple of minutes to sort things out, but to go to full manual timing isn't the norm.
No, and of course it does mean also that they have to up the ante on timekeepers so that we've got a sufficient number of times to allow the times to be accredited, because this is a meet where it's taken by FINA to use your times for entry to the major international competitions. So
not just that, obviously there will be swimmers here who will be looking for times for, as you mentioned, that summer champs window which closes on Tuesday. So the meet organisers, I'm sure, are working hard to make sure they can still keep that accreditation, so that anybody who does set that time this weekend, the time will count towards that.
A view down on our athletes gallery on one side of the pool there. So you can see there North East Regional Championship, so the Newcastle swim team. And there on the right the Danes and also Sterling in there. I wonder if we can persuade them to turn around and give us a wave.
Well, I think we'll be struggling. I think they probably don't even know right now that we're on them. Does look like we might be ready to get underway though.
So we'll see whether the electronics get started. The lineup for the second heat: Naomi Shevils, Morven Lister, Katarina Price, Ella Johnson, Kiana McInnes, Yvonne Brown, Melody Jones, Lauren Patterson and Erin Taylor. So away they go, and it does look like the clock is running here in the venue, so we will keep our fingers crossed that it holds up. Ella Johnson is the fastest entry time in this heat. In fact, it's not, it's Kiana McInnes, sorry, on lane 4. Winner of the transitional final in the British Championships, and 200 fly very much her signature event, and she is about a body length up at the halfway mark. We are getting a split up, but that's good news. 30.05 for Kiana, up by 9/10 on Yvonne Brown. Yvonne Brown is a swimmer who has made so much progress in the last season or so. The East Kilbride-based swimmer, member of the Scottish Youth Development Squad. So in the running, Ella Johnson and Melody Jones. So these swimmers all vying for second place, but it's Kiana by quite a comfortable margin, about 4 metres. 1:04.16 at the halfway mark. That's a couple of seconds faster than we had from the first heat, Amber Keegan. Kiana represented Britain last year at the European Juniors, finalist in this event. So, British summer champion as well.
Obviously moved over now. Kiana was at Heart of Midlothian, but it's now moved to University of Stirling, so she's working under Steve Tigg there at University of Stirling now. So it'll be interesting to see how she develops through that transition from junior to senior swimmer.
Yeah, I always feel that the first year of that transition is hard, and perhaps you see the best of them in the second and subsequent years once they've made the transition. It's a big shift when you're going from the age group program where you've worked with your coach for years and years. You're now working with different people. Wearing a Commonwealth Games cap there, Kiana, of course, was part of the Commonwealth Games team at the Gold Coast. And she's going to take this very comfortably, looking pretty sharp here at a time of 2:16.47. So certainly well within what she's capable of, entered to 11. That certainly, I think, will give her a decent lane in the final. Probably lane 5, I would guess, depending on what happens in this next heat. 2:20 for Yvonne Brown, 2:20.10. And then very close for third, just 300ths between Katarina Price. Well, in fact, Melody Jones taking third, 2:22.88, and it was close for fourth. Katarina Price and Ella Johnson. We are missing a time in lane number 7. They've taken the swimmer off the scoreboard there for some reason, but she is there. Now she's back again, Lauren Patterson. That was a worrying moment for her. Eliminated.
She never even moved.
But she probably wasn't aware of that. She's still just recovering from her 200 fly, and now when she looks up, she'll see her time on the board, 2:29.
Coach was aware of it somewhere. Eagle-eyed coaches.
Yep. That's what we pay them for. They get the big bucks.
Obviously, talking about Kiana's swim there, and it'll probably put her into that sort of lane 5 in the final. I suppose that's one of the advantages in being on one of the heats after, isn't it? That you have a little bit of knowledge of, you know what you need to do.
Absolutely. I think they'll know exactly what they have to do. So heat 3 now. And Emily Large will be the fancied one here, the Newcastle swimmer. Bronze medalist in the British Championships. We have empty lane in lane number 3. So the line-up, Alice Meldrum of East Kilbride in 0. Dorothy Goodgame of City of Oxford in 1. Sophie Murray of Barnet Copthall in 2. Emily Large of Newcastle in 4. Serena Iguarum of City of Glasgow in 5. Faye Rogers of Borough of Stockton in 6. Catherine Bailey of Perth City in 7. Rachel Hornsby of Wigan Best in 8. And Anna O'Brien of Newcastle in lane 9. And it is Emily Large, 29.40 at the 50. Certainly setting this out about a second faster than Kiana's split. Emily and Kiana, of course, have grown up together, if you like, in 200 butterfly circles, being big rivals, similar age.
Yeah, obviously both of them on to British performance programmes as well, so they will have trained together and things as well at times. Not all the time, obviously, but they will have been on training camps together and stuff as well, and kind of found out about each other. And be interesting to see Emily obviously set off strongly there, 1:02.74 through the 100. Is she doing the opposite of what we saw in the previous event of the men and went out strong in the first half and is then going to maybe ease back a bit in the second? Or she looks to be holding on to that pace just now.
Yes, we'll keep an eye on that. So our second 50 was just over 33, so we're looking for maybe 136 or thereabouts at this split if she has maintained the pace. And, well, she's pretty much on that, 136.57. So she is keeping it going at the moment. And, well, that will bring her in sort of 210 sort of pace, which would be mighty impressive. The meet record, in fact, stands at 2:12.22. So this could be in trouble here, that meet record, if she does hold it in this. Look at the effort in her face there as you see she comes up to breathe. Really working it hard. So this is a mighty impressive swim from Emily Large this morning. And, well, no sign of pushing back at all. 2:11.11. That was absolutely phenomenal. And that is our first meet record going for this morning. So very nicely done there from Emily.
I'm sure that hurt into the end of that race there, Duncan. We could see that on her face when we had that close-up shot there. She was definitely continuing to work. My theory of was she going to ease off down the second half was definitely blown out the water there.
Yep. And 2:11.11 is the pace. But she's well used to swimming hard in the 200 fly, so I'm sure we'll recover pretty quickly. Faye Rogers second, Sophie Murray was third. Men's 200 fly. We also have 3 heats. And you can see them all ready to go. Just summarising the last event on the scoreboard here in the venue. So that takes just a minute or two as the swimmers make their way out of the pool before we get going with the men. The whistle goes. We'll be seeing Richard Nagy back after that very strong swim earlier in the 400 IM. So another one like Amber Keegan doing the 400 IM 200 fly double. But in this first heat, we've got Thomas Jaffers in 0 for Perth. Then we have Christopher Motha of City of Oxford. Alfie Kelly on his second swim for Newcastle in 2. Felix Gifford of University of Stirling in 3. Nikos Tarnos of Greece in 4. Mark Elric, City of Glasgow in 5. Jack Toe from the City of Sheffield in 6. Harley Beach of Edinburgh University in 7. And Nathan Whiffen of Lisburn in Northern Ireland in lane 8. 27.42 is the 50 split. Pretty competitive this first heat early on. Number of swimmers in line. We're looking there at Felix and Nikos on the City of Glasgow swimmer, and Mark Elric rather, and Nikos. And in the red cap, Jack Toe. But in fact, Harley Beach is challenging for second in lane 7. But Nikos 59.11 going through halfway. Represented Greece in last year's European Juniors. 19 this year, so just over the age for European Juniors this year, so has to break his way into the Greek senior team. This, of course, will be preparation for that, this trip here. Greeks obviously see a future for Nikos. So at the 150, 131.86.
Just under the second there still of an advantage. Looks about half a body length as we see it on that shot there. So maybe looking to just keep those arms turning over, keep moving forward. I think that's the thing, as you get tired in the 200 butterfly, keeping that momentum moving forward and using the energy to move yourself through the water and not starting to tighten up.
Well, Kelrick's putting in a pretty decent shift there in lane 5. He is maybe 3 metres or so behind Nikos, but good solid swim from the Glaswegian. So 2:04.41 for Nikos, 2:06.75 for Mark. First and second, and then third spot goes to Harley Beach in lane 7, 2:08.03. And there is the full result for you. I'm not sure whether I dare say it, that it looks like the electronics are now starting to behave themselves, or should I just wash my mouth out?
You've said it now, Duncan, you've said it
I
now.
know.
So
too late.
Everybody everywhere around the world watching him from the live stream knows who to blame when it suddenly freezes again.
Yeah, thanks for that. So Heat 2, Gregor Swinney, City of Glasgow in 0. Jonah Walsh of Edinburgh University in 1. Sat Logue from City of Sunderland in 2. Then we have Harry Lewis Mitchell of Edinburgh University in 3. Ryan Brown of City of Glasgow in 4. Nicholas Blanche of Aalborg in 5. Jamie McDonald of Warrender in 6. Craig Greenock of City of Glasgow in 7. And Samuel Naylor from Newcastle Swim Team in 8.
So we're expecting a strong swim from the Glaswegian Ryan Brown here then?
Yeah, not seen too much of Ryan in recent weeks. He was bronze medalist at National Short Course before Christmas over in Edinburgh. 4th here last year and 2nd in the Scottish National Championship. So it'll be interesting to see what it is. It didn't swim in the British Championships. I'm not sure why. But hopefully he will be showing some form this summer. He's about a metre clear of Nicholas Blanche at the halfway mark, 1:01.15. That is not as fast as Nikos in the previous heat, a couple of seconds back on that time. And he's being pushed by Nicholas Blanche.
To be a stronger turn there from Nicholas. He was better through the turn, which looks like he has just taken over that lead there. So now that he has, he'll be looking, it does look from that angle like he does definitely stretching it out about half a body length now as they come up this third 50.
Yes, so Ryan has to play catch up in the final length if he is to get past him again. 1:34.52. Plays 1:35.38 for Ryan. And it certainly looks very much like Nicholas Blanche is the one who's going to take this one now. He has opened up about 2.5 metres of a gap, and Ryan has to worry about the swimmers around him. Harry and Jamie are all knocking on the door. In fact, particularly the Warrender swimmer, Jamie McDonald, who's putting in a really strong final length here. And he is looking set. Well, he's going to be tight for second, in fact. Let's see.
So it is Nicholas Blanche that takes it, but the second place does go the way of Jamie McDonald, just as you called it, Duncan. So 2:09.08, third place there going to Harry Lewis Mitchell of Edinburgh University, but very close there, very close for that second spot.
And there is the result for you, 2:08.86 then, the time from Nicholas. So still the fastest time from Heat 1, Nikos Tarnos, 2:04.41. Can this final heat go faster than that? My guess is they will, or at least one of them will. But we shall see. We've got Richard Nagy, as we saw in that 400 IM, was pretty impressive. So has he had sufficient recovery time? Well, the electronics have helped him in that regard, giving him a bit more recovery time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He can maybe give them a wee thank you.
Not everybody's complaining about the hold-ups.
He maybe slipped him a fiver. Finn Armick goes for Winsford in 0. Tony Joe Trett Oliver for University of Stirling in 1. Then we have a trio of City of Sheffield swimmers, Cole Hewitt in 2, Tom Downs in 3, Richard Nagy in 4. Stephen Milne off to a fast start in lane 5 for Perth City. Then we have Ruben Visder, another City of Sheffield swimmer, in 6. Oliver Frost of Aalborg in 7. Fraser Wilson of Warrender in 8. And Rory Young, Hart Midlothian in 9. So we see there Stephen Milne closest to you, just ahead of Richard Nagy. Stephen, of course, you always think of him as a freestyler, 200 and above. But he, at the moment, leads the way.
Does quite like it, quite a lot of events though, to swim quite a varied programme, Stephen, doesn't he?
Yes, he's around 4/10 here. We are seeing a number of swimmers doing less familiar events, and I saw Mark Sharanek doing a 50 breaststroke. I don't think I've seen him do that since he was about 12.
Yeah, so obviously Mark just moved to University of Stirling as well, so it'll be interesting to see what he does through the next little while, and how he changes things up with his move from Florida back to Scotland again.
Now, Stephen Milne, he actually won this event last year, and he will be maybe looking to say, right, I can do fly, I know about this event. And he is, it certainly looks like, going to bring this one in. Remember, 2:04.41, the time from Heat 1 from Nikos Tarnos. Tell you they were very much eatsy-peatsy with that time through the splits.
Richard Nagy is actually coming back at him, so this is going to be very close as they come into this final 5 metres here. I think it's going to come right down to touch, but I think Richard maybe is just going to sneak the win.
Yes, he does. 2:03.33, so he'll be the fastest qualifier, and Stephen Milne will be right beside him in lane 5, so that's the 2 fastest times there. Good last 50 from Richard, just holding back perhaps early on, and then we've seen that a few times now, people finishing strongly after taking it fairly easily, and that might be because of that 400 IM earlier.
That can be our theme of the morning.
Yep. 200 freestyle now, starting with the women. 5 heats. So what to watch out for in this one. The Welsh swimmer Catherine Greenslade heads off the final heat. Before that, Lucy Hope, who we saw just snatching that 50 free last night that we talked about, with Katie Shanahan beside her. Hannah Miley going in heat 3. So we've got some good, interesting talent coming up here. There's your lineup for heat number 1. Sophia Altott in lane 1 for the University of Stirling. Millie Milne of Warrender in 2. Catherine Bailey of Perth City in 3. Melody Jones of Borough of Stockton in 4. Jenna Cole of Bells Hill in 5. Charlotte Berry from City of Sheffield in 6. And Sky Mulholland of East Kilbride in 7. So entry times in this first heat, 2:11s and 2:12s. 4 lengths of the pool, of course. Melody Jones off to a decent start. So is Sophia Altoft in the white cap in lane number 1. Just behind them, Jenna Cole. So through the turn, and it's Melody Jones. 30.17 with the touch. And she's looking pretty good here in lane 4. Has opened up a healthy gap. 16-year-old from Stockton. Let's see what our split is at halfway. So she was 30.1, now 102.9. So that was about a 32.7 for her second 50. So that would suggest something inside her entry time at 2:11 if she can keep this going. Quite a bit inside. Let's see if she can. Sky Mulholland going nicely in lane 7 on the left-hand side of your screen.
Strong third 50 from Sky there, so she's looking to close that gap across to Melody Jones a bit, but Melody looks to just be doing what she needs to do to maintain that, so turns there 136.57, so she's just keeping going there and letting everybody else come at her.
Yeah, dropped a bit of pace in that third 50, so we're, I think, talking more around her entry time. And I can't see Sky catching up, but she is certainly having a good second half. And there we focus on Melody. Borough Stockton with a very strong programme. So many strong programmes in the northeast of England, such as Sheffield, of course, Newcastle. 2:11.33 then, Melody Jones. So she does inside her entry time of 2:11.60. So nicely done. Sky Mulholland 2:12.20. So she also gets inside her time by just over a tenth. Third place, Catherine Bailey 2:14.58. On to heat 2. The lineup for heat 2. Ciara Tomasello of Stratford in 0. Jacqueline McMillan in lane 1 for Carnegie. Lane 2, Anna Williamson of Wren 96. 3 is Ellie Hamilton of First. Jess Smith goes for Wigan Best in 4. Elise McQueenie of City of Glasgow in 5. Second Wigan swimmer Jennifer Green in 6. Lane 7 is Louisa Stoddart of East Lothian. Then West Lothian's Drew Mackenzie in 8. And Natasha Simpson going for Warrender in lane 9.
Strong start from Louisa Stoddart of East Lothian there. Obviously she's out at East Lothian under coach Bruce Halloran out there.
Yeah, interesting, because she withdrew from event earlier. She was on the start list. I think that was for the 100 breaststroke and chose not to swim it. So obviously has decided that this is her focused event. She's certainly there with Jess Smith.
Look at
Early
on
on.
the far side as well there, though, the Carnegie swimmer Jacqueline McMillan. She's probably there or thereabouts for the second spot at the moment. So
Yes.
102.39 for Jess Smith through the turn there.
And it was Jacqueline McMillan turning second and Louisa third. Also moving up now in lane 3, the first swimmer, Ellie Hamilton, and beside her, Anna Williamson. But nobody's really getting to our leader, Jess Smith. Jess with an entry time 2:10.37. 15-year-old from Wigan. We talk about strong northeast programs. We've also got some very strong northwest programs, and a number of them have come up. Wigan with a strong contingent here in Glasgow this weekend. 1:36.21 is just slightly faster than we saw from Melody Jones in the previous heats. And down the final length, and looks like Jess will hold on to this one.
Well, Jacqueline McMillan of Carnegie is coming up fairly strongly in lane 2 there. I think I'm going to put my money on Jacqueline McMillan just stealing this one here at the touch, actually.
Well, I think you're going to lose your money.
As always losing money, Duncan. Always losing money. It did look, though, probably about the 15 metres. I think she did very briefly possibly take the lead, but that was maybe enough to spur on Jess Smith, who then took that one in the winning time of 2:10.82.
Yep, Louisa Stoddart taking third by 200ths from Natasha Simpson. Right, top tip, don't follow Mr. Johnson's tips with the horses.
Maybe I'm just being, maybe that's a deliberate ploy.
Okay. We'll test that theory out later on. Heat 3, Grace Conroy of City Sheffield in 0, Caroline Barrett from the Danish junior team in 1, Camilla Otterson of Aalborg in 2, Kate Clifton of City of Sheffield in 3, Hannah Miley, we talked about her earlier, goes in 4 for University of Aberdeen, Emily Horn of City of Glasgow in 5, Sophie Lewis Ward of Edinburgh University in 6, Meg Finnan, University of Stirling in 7, and 2 Warrender swimmers, Olivia Mason in 8, Natalie Jones in 9.
So the stronger start there from Emily Horn of City of Glasgow. Obviously we spoke about Hannah, and she's kind of on her return from injury, so it will be interesting to see what she can do, but probably still finding her feet a little bit and kind of testing herself, how her body reacts to things.
I think that probably she will maybe come through in the second half. Emily Horn, of course, well known as a sprinter, but she does do the 200 fairly regularly. Emily was finalist short course at British Universities back in November. And Hannah Miley, I think, is on her case now, just on her shoulder. As they come down length 3, then it's Kate Clifton in lane 3. But it's Miley and Horn are going to be pretty much together at the 150. The touch by
Just
200ths
Miley, yeah.
goes to Miley. And, well, Emily Horn is not conceding this just yet, but it does look like Hannah Miley. A very strong 200 free swimmer as well. She's been in her time in 4x2 relay teams at the highest level. And she is going to bring this one home. She definitely thinks that the comeback trail is well underway here for Hannah, and that was a strong final 50 for her, coming back in a 31 and a bit. So 2:04.77 is the marker laid down for the next 2 heats.
Fairly close for that second place, though. Emily Horn just holding on to it from Kate Clifton, so we'll look out for Kate later on as well if she does enough to just scrape into that final.
You should do, you would think, third in a seeded heat with a 10-lane final, but you can't take anything for granted. Just needs a strong swim from one of the outside lanes in these next 2 heats, and that could put your place in jeopardy. Heat 4, Hannah Young goes for South Ayrshire in 0. Izzy Winter of Newcastle in 1. Katie Smith of Warrender in 2. 3 is Elizabeth Everson of the Danish junior team. Lucy Hope, Edinburgh University in 4. Katie Shanahan, the City of Glasgow in 5. Alice Thickett, City of Sheffield in 6. Ellis Shields of Margay and Bearsden in 7. Then we have Camilla Broger Anderson of Aalborg in 8. And Alicia Bain from University of Aberdeen in 9.
29.20 through the first 50 from Lucy Hope there. Obviously we've seen Lucy a couple of times already this weekend. Freestyle, strong stroke for Lucy. I'm sure she'll be looking to hold on to that. That's City of Glasgow, someone that we're looking at there. Katie Shanahan, obviously Katie, one of the juniors. So it's good to see her mixing it up with the senior swimmers.
Yes, I mean, she is one of our superstar juniors, really, and it looks like she's going to have the lead at halfway. 1:01.98, about 6/10 back on the previous heat. But a nice three-way tussle developing here with Lucy Hope and Elizabeth Everson along with Katie Shanahan. You going to call a winner on this one, Stuart? See if your luck's in a bit more this time.
Absolutely not. I've been caught out enough on that one, and I've learned my lesson. So I think I'm just going to let the swimming do the talking.
Okay. Final turn coming up, and it's really tight again. I think Lucy just getting the touch, but we're talking hundredths here. 1:34.39. Again, slower than we saw from Hannah Miley. But Lucy Hope, I think, now is looking very much the favourite. That's where your money should have been, Stuart. Lucy, was it ever in doubt she was going to pull away in the final length?
Well, all I'm going to say, Duncan, is you were desperate for me to put a bet on there, but I didn't hear much betting coming from Mr. McKinnell, so we'll take that maybe you weren't as confident in that one as you're making out either.
2:03.93, and that just shows there that was a sub 30 for that final 50, and she ends up 0.8 faster than Hannah Miley in the previous heat, from having come into that final 50 a second behind. So Lucy really pushed it hard in that last length, and in the end that was a pretty comfortable victory for her from Elizabeth Everson and Katie Shanahan, second and third. So it'll be Lucy's teammate Catherine Greenslade, the one to watch in this final heat. There's the lineup. Faye Rogers from the Borough of Stockton in 0. Chantal Smith, University of Stirling in 1. Katie Robertson, a slightly unfamiliar event for her, for South Ayrshire in 2. Sophie Pettersson of the Danish junior team in 3. Catherine Greenslade of Edinburgh University in 4. Katrine Villison in 5 for Aalborg. Tara Hayworth of Edinburgh University in 6. Murray Swanson of University of Aberdeen in 7. Lucy Grieve and Gro Rasmussen complete the fields in 8 and 9 for South Ayrshire and the Danish junior team.
Really close through that first 50 then. It is the Dane Katrine Vilson who did have the touch there. But she was closely followed by the swimmer from Edinburgh University, Catherine Greenslade. We expect Catherine to be strong in this one as well. So we've seen a lot of stronger back ends from swimmers this morning. So we'll see if that's how it goes. But a strong second 50 from the Danish swimmer as well. So she's definitely went out there to take this one, I think.
Yeah, quite a comfortable lead, 1:00.72. That is our fastest halfway split by around about 6/10. And she's got a decent advantage here. Sophie Pettersson turning second, just ahead of Catherine Greenslade, but she's a second behind Catherine at the halfway mark, and no signs at the moment that that lead is coming down.
No, it doesn't look that way at all, does it? Looks to be continuing that lead out over the body length now, so probably a good 2 metres maybe as she comes into the final turn here. So turns there 1:31.94, again much faster than we've seen through any of the other heats here, so she's definitely went out to swim this one strongly.
Yes, Catherine Greenslade now comfortable in second. Well, we saw Lucy Hope finishing very strongly, her teammate in the previous heat, and Catherine doing something similar. She is closing the gap, but still a fair amount of ground to make up, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think it is going to be Catherine.
So it is going to be the Dane who takes that one, 2:03.44. Second place does go the way of Catherine Greenslade in a 2:04.39. And the third place spot there going to her Danish teammate Sophie Peterson. She takes third there, 2:07.10. So on to finals for those swimmers tonight.
Yeah, I think the 2:07s are good for finals, and That time there from Catherine to a 3:44 will earn her lane 4. Of course, barring, of course, the heats this afternoon and something sensational happening there, but I think very unlikely that we'll see somebody faster than 2:03 this afternoon. Men's 200 freestyle is next. Again, we have 5 heats. See the men lined up for heat number 1 there. It's counting them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 7 on the heat sheet and 7 up there. So all are ready to go. The line up here, Graham Baird of Scotia, Pierce Greening of Cockermouth, Cameron Allison of Dumfries, Morgan Berryman from the University of Stirling, Fraser Meadows from Edinburgh University, Carl Barrett from the Aberdeen University, and Elliot Miller from Firth. So a bit of a university battle there, lanes 4, 5 and 6. And the Scots from Stirling, Edinburgh and Aberdeen looking to take pride of place here. Strong start from the Edinburgh man, Fraser Meadows. He's first to show.
Strong start from all 3 swimmers on this near side to us though, Duncan, isn't it? There's not much between Fraser Meadows, Carol Barrett and Elliot Miller, so they'll be looking, does look like it might just be the Edinburgh Uni swimmer with a slight advantage, but we're only talking 4/10 there at the turn, so not that much to choose really at all.
No, their entry times all sort of 1:58, 1:59 area. Carl Barrett seems to have thrived, went up from Western Bartonshire to Aberdeen in his first year there, and he really seems to be thriving under the Patrick Miley programme. And so we'll see what he can do here. He's right alongside Fraser Meadows as they come to halfway. Keep your eye on that yellow cap as well in lane 2, Pierce Greening. In fact, he leads at halfway, 58.42.
So would Fraser Meadows then, obviously he'll know about the swimmer in the lane next to him, but is he going to have in the corner of his eye that swimmer out in lane 2 there?
Well, not at the moment, the way he's breathing the other direction, so I don't think he'll have much idea about Pierce at the moment, but he'll suddenly see him once he gets in the turn, assuming that he then breathes on the other side. But it's all pretty close here with 50 to go. Pierce does lead them through, but by 4/10, 1:29.55. And we are now seeing that Fraser is breathing over towards Pierce's side, so you will be aware of him now. But of course he also now has Carl Barrett ahead of him, so I think it's going to be between Pierce and Carl to sort this one out, unless Fraser can put in a late challenge, which he's having a go at.
Pierce does look to be holding on to this one though, so half a body length as he comes into the final 5. He does just hold on to that one, so I've got one right this morning, Duncan. So
well done.
Just outside the 2 minutes there in a 2:00:16.
Yeah, a little bit of a glide in from Pierce then, it almost put him in jeopardy, but he had enough in hand, so in the end 45 hundredths out of Carl Barrett second and Fraser Meadows in third, all on 2:00. So can you get on a roll now, Stuart?
No,
I can see this form is hotting up.
One hit wonder.
Heat 2. And they get underway. We have Kieran Thomas of Newcastle in 0, Angus Allison of Warrender in 1, his brother Fraser Allison in 2, also from Warrender of course, Rory Dixon of North Ayrshire in 3, Lewis Maxwell of Derwentsside in 4, Finlay Saunders of Hearts in 5. Then we have Charlie Waddingham of University of Stirling in 6. Sam Sally of City of Sheffield in 7. Ben Martin of University of Stirling in 8. And Maxwell Cattermole from St Thomas in lane 9.
So this youngster from North Ayrshire, Rory Dixon, who had the slimmest of advantages there as we came through. Fairly spread out across the pool, so we've got a 200 here, so they've got time to sort themselves out, but Rory's doing great things down in North Ayrshire under Jess Wilkie, of course, who we've had on live stream before. We know Jess well.
Yes, we have. Jess is here coaching her team this weekend, but also going pretty nicely down at the bottom of your screen, Maxwell Cattermole, but the lead 57.43 is with Rory Dixon, just pacing pretty much bang on 30 seconds for his second 50. Rory, member of the youth development squad, was Silver medalist in West District short course here before Christmas, but showing he can do it long course as well. Over up at the top of your screen, Kieran Thomas in Newcastle is up in the mix for second place, along with Maxwell in the bottom of the screen, and in lane 4, Lewis Maxwell. So all over the pool we've got contenders.
So we've got to keep eyes everywhere, haven't we? And sometimes these camera angles can be a little bit deceptive as well, can't they? That when you see the swimmers in a straight line in front of you, it gives you a bit of a better idea. But keeping an eye on the pool as well, and trying to make sure that we get the right people at the time, which I've proved this morning isn't going that well. But Rory Dixon, I'm going to put my money on Rory Dixon for this one and make it 2 in a row. In a 1:58.62 there we see Rory do, so a couple of seconds faster than the previous heat. So a good strong swim from Rory.
Yep, the one swimmer under the 2 minutes. Kieran Thomas 2:00.17 and Lewis Maxwell third, 2:00.57, just ahead of Maxwell Catamol. So 2 Maxwells there, third and fourth. So we go on to heat 3, the first of our cycle seeded heats. Elliot Clogg is a strong performer at 200 freestyle. So we'll keep an eye on him in lane 4. The line-up, Daniel Ferguson of West Lothian in 0. Harley Beach of Edinburgh University in 1. His teammate, the Cypriot Thomas Tsiapanis, in 2. Marcus Kelson goes in lane 3 for Silkeborg. Elliot Clogg of City of Sheffield in 4. Archie Goodburn of Warrender in 5. Kyle Boyek of University of Stirling in 6. Mark Elric, very quick return to the pool for him in lane 7 after that 200 fly. Then we have Scott Gibson of Edinburgh University in 8. Sonny Kennedy of Warrender in 9. 25.81, Kyle Boyek leading the way out of lane 6. So he's off to a really good start here in the white cap in lane 5. You'd expect Elliot Clogg to be calling him in, and Archie Goodburn in between them. Also Marcus Kjelsen is in that leading group, and Thomas Tsiapanis not far back either. This is a pretty tight one, this heat.
Yeah, no, a few more swimmers in the mix here. We had it fairly close up to the 100 in the previous one, but definitely more to do. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Duncan. I'm going to make you pick a winner from this one.
Okay, well, I've got my money on Elliot Clogg in lane 4. He's starting to look strong down this third length. Kyle Boyek, the early leader, is still in the mix, and so is Marcus Kjelsen in lane 3. And just behind them, Thomas Tsiapanis out of the turn. It's pretty tight here.
Just though.
1:25.32 the split there, so that is about 3 seconds faster than the previous heat. And it looks like it's the battle between Clogg and Kjelsen now in lanes 4 and 3. Clogg just has the edge, or does he? This is really tight. Thomas Tsiapanis not far away either, and I think actually it's going to be Kjelsen who is going to take it. He pushed it hard down there. Oh, I can see the grin on your face as I've lost my money there. 1:54.30 for Kjelsen, 1:54.77 there for Clogg. And Thomas Tsiapanis, 1:54.85 for him.
Good 4 seconds quicker than we've seen in the previous heat though, so we'd expect to see that though, looking at the entry times, wouldn't we? We'd expect to see with these heats the faster swimmers being a little bit faster each time.
Yes indeed. So nice swim from the Dane there, Kjelsen from Silkeborg. On to heat 4. The line up here, Liam McLaughlin of Warrender in 0, Martin McInnes, City of Glasgow in 1. Oscar Lindholm of the Danish junior team in 2, with his teammate Arthur Ellegaard in 3. Another quick return to the pool. Stephen Milne, after that 200 fly, goes in lane 4 in his more favoured 200 freestyle. Then he's got Scott McClay beside him, so that'll be an interesting contest. First appearance of Scott McClay this weekend. Ross Leslie for Edinburgh University in 6, and another Edinburgh University man, Jack Watson, in 7. Daniel Whiffin of Lisburn in 8, and Greg Fairbairn, another quick return for him as well in lane 9. 26.08, just a tad slower than the previous heat. And Stephen Milne doesn't seem at the moment to be showing any ill effects from that 200 fly, Stuart.
No, not at all, but a bit more familiar territory for Stephen, isn't it? We're more used to seeing him in these freestyle events, so obviously he's been part of medal-winning teams on the international stage and in the 4x200 relay, so we would expect a strong 200 freestyle from him here, and that's definitely what we're seeing from him through the first stages. So turned there 54.79, so a good lead there, and definitely the fastest that we've seen so far at the 100. And if anything, pulling a little bit more advantage out through the second half of the race.
Yeah, the contest for second at the moment is up at the top of your screen. McInnes in 1, Lindholm in 2. 1:23.58 for Stephen. About 1.7, 1.8 faster than the previous heat. And that was about just under a 29 rather for his third 50. So pretty respectable stuff here. We're talking about something maybe 152 sort of territory for Stephen. The race is about second now. That is getting really tight. 152.15. So he'll be pretty happy with that, particularly so close to that 200 fly to show that sort of recovery in not very long and put out our 152, only 4 seconds or so away from his entry time. 155s there, 3 of them. Ellegaard, Lindholm and McInnes, second, third and fourth. So it'll be interesting there, 155. Keep an eye on that in this final heat. See how many swimmers get inside 155. See where these guys will stand. So in the final heat, we have Declan Hall of Wigan Best in 0, Panagiotis Balanos of Greece in 1. No swimmer in lane 2. Aldi Hasuna in lane 3 for Edinburgh University. Jack McMillan of Bangor in 4. Kieran McGuckin of Edinburgh University in 5. 2 from the Danish junior team. Christopher Anderson in 6 and Rasmus Nicholson in 7. Ewan Leslie of Edinburgh University in 8 and Joe Watt in 9 for City of Glasgow. 25.73, Jack McMillan.
Again, still fairly close though through that first 50 there. Can you Jack with maybe half a body length of advantage, but kind of anyone's race for the rest of the placings at the moment.
Yeah, so Jack is taking out silver medalist in the Irish Championships in April in Dublin. Represented Ireland in the European Juniors last year. Just missed the final, 10th spot in the semis. 53.96 for him, so that is faster than Stephen Milne's split by about 8 tenths. Going well in lane 1 is Panagiotis Balanos.
Kieran McGuckin from Edinburgh University going well as well, though, so looks from there it's fairly close. Looks like it will be a second place battle that we're looking at again, Duncan, but 1:22.13 for Jack McMillan, so he does turn there slightly faster than we saw in the previous heat from Stephen Milne.
So yes, it is Balanos and Anderson, I think, will decide second between them, just emphasising the international nature of this meet. We've got Ireland, Greece and Denmark in the top 3 spots. And they're focusing on Jack McMillan, who brings that in 151.98, so that earns him lane 4 in the final. And I think he'll be happy enough with that.
Yeah, and interestingly, taking a quick look back, we said to keep an eye out for that 155. That will be enough there, because our 4th place Kieran McGuckin 156.42. So those swimmers that were in there on the 155s in the previous heat will get that final place.
Yes, Kieran McGuckin, best known as 100, was part of that 4x100 team that picked up a bronze for Scotland in the Gold Coast. And 200 freestyle is a bit foreign territory for Kieran. I think that is equivalent to a 1500 for him, I think. Just looking down the lineup, it's Harley Beach 155.63 made it, but Martin McGuinness 155.70. In fact, just has to go into the B final. So that 155 was very much the cusp, as we thought it might be.
And obviously it will be a B final spot, because at other meets you would have reserves, but this meet there is no reserves, so it would be a B final, I think, as it stands from the meet information.
Yep, I think so. So we focus on sprints now for the rest of the morning session, and it's all about backstroke. 6 heats for the women. First up, So, of course, we look to the other end of the pool as they get set to go.
This looks like they're sorting out one of those backstroke ledges there over on the far side. So there's the lineup that we've got. Duncan, do you want to take us through that?
I would love to. Ailsa Kellis from Carnegie, the Dunfermline-based team. Laura Murray of Stirling swim. Anna O'Brien of Newcastle. Rosie Smith just up the road from her in Morpeth. Then we have Mia Smith in lane 4 for Southport. Inverclyde's Lauren McClay will go in 5. 6 is Camilla Otterson from Aalborg. Abby Winstanley of Cockermouth in 7. Lily Woolwork of Southport in 8. And Sarah Coffey from First, the Falkirk-based team, in lane 9.
Just looking across there, I'm not convinced we have all those swimmers. It looks like we might be missing Lauren McClave of Inverclyde, but these swimmers have a habit of popping out from the most random places at times.
That's true. And I'm not sure, do we have Ailsa Kellis? Yes, we do have Ailsa Kellis. Can see her there. That's where we've got
in the background waiting on the backstroke ledge being sorted out.
Yeah, we've got a right old tangle there, on the looks of it. They are good for the swimmers, the ledges. I remember talking to Craig McNally, he reckons it gives him about half a second advantage in his 200 pack. So
I've always been curious about this. So it gives him a 2.5 advantage, but does it not give every other swimmer the same advantage as well? So does that not then even the field?
But I think it gives you a more consistent start, doesn't it? Because there was always this danger of slipping off the pad as you set off, because they put a lot of force, particularly the men, put a huge amount of force into that start on the backstroke as they launch themselves into the air. So it is very important to get that good consistent start. In fact, we're missing 2 swimmers, lane 1 and lane 5. So neither of them go from the list that I read out earlier. The entry times here all 31 to low 32s. Mia Smith in lane 4 has the fastest of those entry times, and she's certainly in the mix here, but well, with these sprints there's never going to be a lot between them, and that's certainly the case in this first heat. I think maybe Mia, the Southport swimmer, though, will take it, and she does. 31.73 for her, just touching inside her inch time by 400ths. Second, Anna O'Brien, and third, Ailsa Kellis. And to heat number 2. The lineup for this one, assuming they're all present: Ailey Redpath, Imogen Smith, Saskia Wade, Madison Turner, Katie Tulloch, Kira Sterica, Alexandra Murray, Holly McGill, Jacqueline McMillan, Sarah Hill, and they are all present. And 31s, 25 up to 74, so half a second the spread. Nice start in lane 4 from Scotia's Katie Tulloch.
Look out over on the far side there as well, though. Ailey Redpath did quite well. She's, again, like we said before, on the 50s, there's not a lot of time to separate them, is there? But they are pretty much coming down the pool in a line here. I think it might be Ailey Redpath at the moment. I don't think she's going to hold on to it, but she's definitely there or thereabouts. We'll see who gets the touch here. And it actually goes the way of Imogen Smith, so she takes that one.
No, Katie Tulloch, in fact.
Katie Tulloch, I missed that one. So Katie Tulloch, 31.57. Second place does go to Imogen Smith in a 31.66. And the outside swimmer there, Ailey Redpath, 31.69 for the third place spot. Really
close, that one. Kira Sterica also just very close there. On to heat 3. Just looking across to see if they're all there. I think they are. Maria Cabrelli, Elizabeth Eberson. Then we have Caitlin Cambrook, Elise McQueenie, Lucy Ross, Lucy Lucas, Rowan Saunders, Amy Shields. Lane 8 is Maria Rafaela Carga and Erin Donnelly in lane 9. 30.8 to 31.2 the range of times here, so 4/10 the spread in this one.
So we would have expected the winner there to come from one of the centre lanes, but lane 1 definitely, probably about half a body length, which in a 50, fairly impressive. So the Dane Elizabeth Ebbison is going to take this one. She takes it there 30.28.
Should be pretty happy with that time, I would think. Entered 31.01, so to take over 7/10 off a 50 is good going. Lisa McQueenie taking second, then Lucy Lucas by 100th from Amy Shields gets third.
So it just shows you we can have the seeding on these entry times, but summers will always cause us some surprises.
Yeah, because when there is only a spread of 4/10, it's perhaps not a big surprise that the winner doesn't come from the centre lanes. A bit more of a spread in this one as we go to the cycle seeded heats, 28.8 up to 30.8, so nearly 2 second spread in this one. So you would think it'll be more the centre lanes who will be dominating here. Alicia Lumsden, Amelia Robertson, Katie Goodburn, Caroline Sorensen, Lily Bosley, Lotta Upan, Caitlin Duffy, Ellie Turner, Abby Sinclair and Scarlett Ferris lineup. And it's the two black cap swimmers in the centre lanes, Bosley and Upan, the Finn based in the University of Stirling. That looks like it's very much Lily Bosley, the Sheffield swimmer, who is going to bring this one in by a big margin in the end, 28.98. So he pushed that hard. 28.84 was her entry time. So good stuff there. That sends out a signal.
Interesting to see Amelia Robertson out in lane 1 there, sneaking the second place.
Yeah, 500s ahead of Lotta Upan. 30.34 and 30.39. But can these swimmers here go under 29 to match what we saw there from Lily? Cassie Wilde, semi-finalist in the Commonwealth Games for Scotland, goes in heat 4 in this one. Line up Alice Meldrum, Emily Ford, Jane Brown, Anna Main, then Cassie Wilde, Robin Crawford, Emily Grant, Ellis Shields, Julie Svensson and Mari Swanson. So 28.3 is Cassie's entry time.
Interesting to see pretty much every one of those swimmers using the full 15 metres that they're allowed under the water there. So definitely bang on point there, and these guys will practice that over and over again. They'll know exactly where they need to be in kicks to be at the 15 metres, won't they?
Yeah, Cassie is going to take this very comfortably indeed. Nice dip into the wall, 28.98.
So exact same time as the previous heat then.
Yep. So interesting stuff there. One more heat to go, of course. Anna Main second, also just edging under 30 seconds. And Julie Svensson, a nice swim from lane 8 for her. And inside her entry time by 700ths. It's just ahead of Emily Ford. Final heat. There's the lineup. Annabelle McCrory. Don't often see Mona McSharry doing backstroke. Let's see how she gets on in lane 1. Kira Tomasello in 2. Eva Pullman in 3. Kathleen Dawson in 4. Emma Scobie in 5. Katie Shannon in 6. Emily Largeback after the 200 fly in 7. Emma Russell in 8. And Morven Lister in 9. Well, Kathleen's another one who has had a disrupted season from illness, but she'll be looking to come back strong in the summer, and she is easing herself into lead. Another Commonwealth Games semi-finalist for, or finalist rather, for Scotland, and she is going to win this. Is she also going to get in 30.98? Whoa, 28.98 rather, not quite as fast as the previous two heats, 29.17.
Be enough to take her into that A final tonight, though.
Oh, comfortably, yes. I think she'll probably be third fastest. We'll see that in a minute. Under the 30 seconds rather for Leva Pullman as well. And in fact, it is Bosley and Wilde equal first, and so they'll share lanes 4 and 5, and it will be Kathleen Dawson in lane 3 beside them. So they'll be the top 3 tonight. So we finish off the morning with men's 50 backstroke. And we've got 6 heats again in this one.
Fast and furious finishes to these mornings, that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, quite like having sprints at the end here, because you think, oh, I've got a long way to go, and then bang, 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 and you're done. Yeah, go for that.
Is that your tip for the future, Duncan, is it? Sprints
Absolutely.
to the end every time.
Of course, yesterday afternoon it was 1500 at the end, and that was slightly different.
quite as quick on that one.
So we've got the battle of the Fergusons here. Jamie in 1, Ben in 2. Then Joshua Aspinall in 3, Andrew Wicks in 4, Charlie Smith in 5, Jay Cushion in 6, Jake Kirkham in 7. Entry times here 28.9 up to 29.2, so just 3/10 here, and a good start from Jake Kirkham down at the bottom of your screen. And he looks to have the advantage here. Can he hold it against older swimmers? Just 15 years old, Jake. Looks like he's holding it at the moment. Lane 5, perhaps Charlie Smith, the closest to him. It's going to be tight between these two. I think Charlie might just edge it. He does, 29.32. Experienced campaigner from East Lothian. Jake Kirkham 2nd, Joshua Aspinall 3rd, and the Ferguson battle, there was just 600ths in it, but it went to Jamie over Ben. Heat 2, Elliot Miller, Douglas Kelly, Jack Munsey, Nathan Whiffen, Kerr Lumsden, Brendan Johnson, Zach Logue, Louis Lawler, Aidan Brown and Sam Glass. Got the very exciting para prospect Louis Lawler going in this one in lane 7, S14 category. He had some very fine freestyle yesterday. And pushing on in lane 8 is Aidan Brown. Not a lot in this one either, but Aidan I think has the edge, but can he hold it? I'm not sure he can. Lane 2, Jack Munsey. Yeah. It is Jack, 28.67. Pretty much on his entry time for the youth squad member from Perth. 2nd, Aidan Brown, and 3rd, Louis Lawler. So on to heat number 3. Line up here, Ryan Zhao, Yasin O'Neill, Fraser Wilson, Aaron Beckford, Ian Rose, Declan Hall, Owen McBurney, Christopher Motha, Rowan Greening and Matthew Cairns. 28.0 to 28.4, the spread here. And coming down the pool pretty much in a line. Lanes 2 is looking good. Fraser Wilson. Is he going to edge it? It's really tight, this one. And in fact, it is lane 8, Rowan Greening. He's having a good morning. A 2nd heat win for him. 28.46 for the Cockermouth swimmer. 2nd was Fraser Wilson, just behind him, 28.54, and Matthew Cairns in 3rd, 28.67, a 10th ahead of Beckford. 3 heats to go. Robertson, Pate, Brenner, Balanas, McNally, Brown, Milne back again, Edgar, Ward and Smiley. Again, 50 backstroke, not something you associate with Stephen Milne at all. More with Craig McNally, although 200 is probably more his thing, but he's done a number of sprints in the last couple of years. He goes in lane 4 with the fastest entry time, 25.93. Again, using that full allowance of 15 metres and get as close to it as you can without sneaking over. That's the objective. McNally in the black cap and the beard. Is pushing on nicely in lane 4. I think he is going to take it from Balanas beside him. That's the 1-2. 26.66 and 26.99 with Charlie Brown taking 3rd in 27.08.
Stephen Milne sneaking into 4th place there for an event you wouldn't expect to see him in, so 27.33 for him. So
yeah,
respectable.
Yes, absolutely. So 27-ish perhaps will be the boundary for the A final. And we'll see how many go sub 27 in these next 2 heats. Looks like we've got no swimmer in lane 8 in this heat 5. So the line up: Liam Harkin, Max Sipipat, Rami Gaziri, Nicholas Pedersen, Scott Gibson, Grant Henderson, Evangelos Makrigiannis, Connor Massey and Ethan Jones. So 100 times 26s and 27s. And it's lane 6, it looks like. The Greek Makrigiannis, who is pushing it hard in the white cap. He's just got the edge, although it's pretty close, but Makrigiannis takes it in 26.49, a little bit faster than the previous heat. 26.93 for Scott Gibson, and then a tie for third. 26.96, worth keeping an eye on that. Swim off territory possibly. 26.96, so just sneaking under that 27. So, well, yeah, they're going to be pretty close to swim off territory. So we'll just watch for that after this next heat, just to see where there's joint 26.96s. Gaziri and Pedersen are placed. Hopefully it may be 9th and 10th. Let's predict that. Final heat then. Full lineup: Alexander Harris, Mark Sharanek, Joe Watt, Scott McLeod, Georgios Spanidakis, Perry Gardner, Mark Ford, Sam Pease, Ruben Visda and Malta Lindeblad. So Spanidakis represented Greece in the European Championships here last summer. Good start from Lindeblad as well at the bottom of your screen. So he is right up there in the mix, but I think it's going to be the Greek taking it pretty comfortably, 26.09. So that is the fastest time in these heats. So he will have it. Now let's look at that. Just one swimmer under the 27 that time. So I think those guys tied are safe in the final.
We're all right. We're not going to swim off.
No, doesn't look like it. And in fact, you can see they line up now. They were joint 5th, those two, Gaziri and Pedersen. And so I think that means our swimming is done, Stuart.
That is our swimming done. So it was an excellent session there, and it was good to see some swimmers swimming the events that we wouldn't necessarily see them in.
Yes, we had one or two little glitches here, but we got through it, and it seemed to settle down in the second half of the session. So hopefully we've put that behind us for this afternoon. Remember, you could join us again very shortly.
Yes, 12.05. 12.05 we're back, so we will be back, and there is lots more top-notch swimming coming up, so we hope you can join us then. But for now, I'm Stuart Johnston.
And I'm Duncan McKinnell. And we'll wish you a very good morning. Bye for now.